SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. NFL Week 8 starts with the Vikings and Rams in Inglewood. Rams wideout Cooper Kupp expected to play after missing 4 games with an ankle injury. He's also the subject of trade talks. Lions wideout Jamison Williams will serve a 2-game suspension for violating the league policy on performance enhancers. Sunday, the Jets play the Patriots on the road. ESPN's Chris Canty.
The last couple of years in Green Bay, we suspected that Aaron Rodgers could be a little bit toxic, especially with a young team. I had no idea that it would be this bad. This guy is like a cancer that has metastasized within the New York Jets organization. And I don't know how they fix it.
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. Pelicans guard DeJounte Murray will be out indefinitely with a broken left hand. He got hurt in Wednesday night's season opener against the Bulls. The New York Liberty held their championship ticker tape parade today in Manhattan. The Liberty won the first WNBA title in franchise history Sunday in a winner-take-all Game 5 against the Minnesota Lynx.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing Service. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We are jam-packed today. We'll get a Saints injury report, fantasy blitz. Mel Kiper's got a big board. David Nuno from Texas. What to watch? Lee Sterling, Mike Triplett. Gimme Graph. A ton to do. AFR.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
I don't think anybody ever wants to see an injury. But injuries are part of football, and obviously they can have an impact. And then there's one on the A&M side that I think we have to talk about. Wednesday on the SEC Coaches Teleconference, Mike Elko was asked about Chase Bisontis and says a little up in the air right now. Well, Wednesday evening when the injury report came out for LSU and Texas A&M, this is the SEC mandated injury report, we learned that Chase Bisontis is out. He will not play in the game Saturday against LSU. And I think this one is significant because I think this is the matchup, the most important matchup in Saturday's game between LSU and Texas A&M. It is Texas A&M's ability to run the football. Let me give you a little bit of background on Chase Bisontis if you're not familiar. The name may sound familiar. LSU recruited him. I mean, everybody recruited him. He was the number 1 player in New Jersey a season ago. He was the number 46 overall player in the country. One of the top offensive linemen. 6'6", 230, signs with A&M. Last year started every game as a true freshman at right tackle. So you're talking about a legit impact guy. This year moves inside to left guard. He moved from right tackle to left guard where he started every game this year. Saturday against Mississippi State, he suffered what's been described as a lower leg injury. They haven't given more detail than that, but now we know he is going to miss this game. There was video of him. This video is courtesy of KBTX. If you're watching, you'll see it here. This is video of Chase Bisontis walking off the field very gingerly and headed to the locker room Saturday against in the game against Mississippi State there at Kyle Field. So far, through 7 games, Bisontis had a a pass block grade at Pro Football Focus of 71.3 and a run block grade of 73.4. This is a guy who, in both run block and pass block grades at various times this year, has graded out in the 80s. So he is a very, very good offensive lineman for Texas A&M. And as I've said, I believe this is the biggest key of the ball game. It's A&M's ability to run the ball because it's the thing they do very well. There's a lot of people that have asked this week, hey, Matt, where do you think the matchup lies? Like, where's the big matchup advantage, either for LSU or for Texas A&M? And for me, point blank, I would tell you, I think LSU kind of has advantages everywhere. The one where I would say, watch that one, is the A&M rush offense against the LSU rush defense. The Aggies right now are 12th in the country in rushing offense. They average 218 rush yards per game. We all know about Le'Veon Moss from Estruma here in Baton Rouge, who went to College Station. He's got 674 rush yards on the season already. He's averaging over 6.5 yards a carry. He is really good. There's no two ways about it. It's a local kid that obviously you would have loved to have been able to keep home, but he went to College Station, and he has made it pay off this year. He's been great. Their second leading rusher is Amari Daniels, who's averaging 4.2 yards per carry. He's got just under 300 rushing yards on the season, 5 touchdowns. The third leading rusher is Marcel Reed. Now, remember Marcel Reed. When Wegman got hurt, Reed started 3 games in place of Wegman, and he's still their third leading rusher on the team. Look, against Florida, Marcel Reed was really good. 13 carries for 83 yards in that football game. Obviously, Connor Wegman is athletic, but he's not the guy that's going to beat you really as a running threat. He can extend plays, he can pick up yardage, but he's not the guy that they're going to design runs for him where he's really going to be dangerous. So you take a player like Basantis off the field and you weaken the interior of that line, that offensive line, that's undeniably a tick in favor of LSU. Again, I'm not cheering for injuries. You never want to see young people or anybody get hurt, but it's part of the game, and you have to talk about how it may affect an outcome. Connor Wegman, earlier in the week, we talked about the Texas A&M pass offense, the LSU pass rush, and why Wegman has struggled, even against a clean pocket. Remember, that was the most telling thing from last week's game against Mississippi State, where Wegman was, quite honestly, just very bad. Even against a clean pocket, he threw 4 turnover-worthy passes. The 2 interceptions that he had and the 2 that could have been turnovers were all against a clean pocket. So even when he hasn't been stressed, he struggled. So now, if you take away or limit the Texas A&M running game and you make Connor Wegman beat you, it's not to say he can't. He was good against Missouri, but that's the outlier. The Missouri game, he was good. Every other game this year has been a struggle. Against Missouri, he was 18 of 22 for 276. Did not throw a touchdown pass or an interception, but he was super efficient. That's the only game all season when he's done that. When you look at his completion percentage against Notre Dame, he completed only 40% of his passes. Against Mississippi State this last weekend, 15 of 25, a touchdown and 2 picks. It was just, he's not been good. Could he be against LSU? Sure, but he hasn't been, so it would be an outlier. A&M's going to try to run the ball. Even when they've struggled, like the Notre Dame game, they still tried to run the ball. In that game against Notre Dame, they ran it 38 times for 146 yards, for 3.8 yards a carry. They were ineffective, but they kept trying to do it because that's what they want to do. They want to be able to line up and run the ball. When you look at LSU's rush defense, I know where our perspective is, what our perception is because of some of the big chunk plays we've seen. And this has been my contention all season, is that LSU's rush defense has actually been pretty good. They've just given up the big runs. And I know, I'm not saying take out the big runs because the big runs are part of it, but context matters. Like the play Ulysses Bentley made, the 50-yard run on that 4th down for Ole Miss. LSU played it perfectly. Major Burns filled. Bentley sort of had to kick back, parallel to the line back inside. He found a crease, went up, north and south. Jordan Gilbert was right there, just missed the tackle. Like, get him on the ground, and that's a marginal gain. So that's not so much run fits or not being in the right place, that was just an error where you missed a tackle. So I think context matters. And LSU right now is 33rd in the country in run defense, allowing 114 yards per game. It's not like you've seen this run defense give up chunks like 8 and 12 and 6 yards at a time. They're really good, and then, boom, they have a brain fart and they rip off a big one. And the thing that's most encouraging is the last 2 times out, Ole Miss, and I know I just talked about the Bentley play, but the Ole Miss game and the Arkansas game this past week, you've seen that run defense continue to improve. Against Arkansas, that was an Arkansas team that went into that game averaging 199 rush yards per game. Arkansas was averaging 199 on the ground. LSU held them to 38 yards. You had a running quarterback in Taylor Green that was neutralized. You had a good running back in Jaquindon Jackson. Grant, you did get hurt at the start of the second half, but still in the first half was completely ineffective. So listen, I'm not saying LSU is going to go completely stymie this run game and they're going to hold Le'Veon Moss and A&M to 38 rush yards. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is the key, in my opinion, to the game. When you wake up on Sunday and you check out the box score, I think you're going to be able to look at Texas A&M's rushing offense, and that is going to tell the story of the game. Because if LSU can limit A&M's rush offense, make Connor Wegman beat them throwing the football, I'm not so sure he can, because I don't see the weapons at A&M on the outside that they've had in years past. Like, there is no Evan Stewart on this team. He's now in Oregon. So I don't think, when you look at A&M's receivers, Noah Thomas, 289 on the season, 21 catches. Cyrus Allen is next, 14 for 220. Barber's next, 16 for 158. Jahad Walker, 12 for 147. I mean, you just don't have guys that are popping off the page the way you saw with Trey Harris from Ole Miss, or the way you're going to see with Ryan Williams from Alabama. I mean, LSU's going to face those guys. And those guys are better than the guys LSU has. I don't think A&M has guys that are better than LSU's secondary, so I don't worry necessarily so much about their ability to cover. I worry about LSU's ability to stop the run. If you can stop the run, I think you have an awesome chance to go win this game. And Chase Basantis being out is a big piece of what Texas A&M does in the running game. And weakening that offensive line is certainly a boost, an unexpected one, but a boost for LSU Saturday going into College Station. By the way, just as we were walking in and Hunt was walking out, he told us the line has gone down to a pick'em. I mean, A&M was a field goal favorite. It had dropped, I'd started around 2.5. Now it's down to a pick'em today. So you've had a lot of professional money, sharp money come in on LSU, which has brought that line down, which would indicate that on a neutral field, LSU would be favored in this football game. If it's in College Station and it's a pick'em, neutral field, LSU would be favored. So certainly would be a big advantage LSU if they were at home. Tigers need to overcome the back-to-back road conference game, the spot on the schedule, the thing we've talked about a lot, but there's a lot of reason to like LSU in this football game. They got to go play really, really well to win it. But this is a big piece with Chase Basantis being out. All right, it's After Further Review. Show opens brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. All right, y'all, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Friday, 5 p.m. Central. Friday, 5 p.m. Central. That's when we'll draw and announce the winner for the Taylor Swift tickets. Of course, tomorrow, Taylor, her 3 shows begin at the Superdome in New Orleans. Our friends over at Mockler Beverage, Bud Light, have offered up a pair of sweet tickets for the Sunday show. I mean, y'all, just think about the get-in price for this show. The get-in price like $1,000 for any of these. You're in the suite. That also takes care of your food and your booze. So incredibly generous from our friends over at Mockler. And again, we'll announce the winner Friday at 5 p.m. So you can go enter 1045ESPN.com. The caveat is the winner and the winner's guest must be 21. So please do not enter if you're under 21. Like, you have to enter your age, so it's not going to accept your registry. And if you try to bring a child into the suite, they're not going to be admitted. So the winner and the winner's guest must be 21 years old. Good luck. You can register online. It's free to enter. Just go enter online at 1045ESPN.com, 1045ESPN.com. You'll see it right there on the flipper on the homepage. It's totally free to enter. Go check it out at 1045ESPN.com and drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. All right, quick break. We'll come back. We'll flip it, talk a little Saints-Chargers, Saints injury report, 2 new absences just when they're getting healthy. They go have 2 new absences at practice on Thursday. We'll get to that as we continue. It's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Hey, if you haven't done it yet, I want you to do this, y'all. I want you to call River City's 1 Hour Air and get your heater safety check. 752-0001, 752-0001. Mention the Moscona special. They'll save you $30. Yo, this is so inexpensive. By the way, I'd always recommend join the membership program, the maintenance membership program. If you do that, this is a complimentary service. The AC tune-up and the heater safety check, they're complimentary. That pays for being part of the membership club throughout the year. Membership club gets you front-of-the-line service. It gets you membership club pricing on all repairs. And if you have to replace your unit, and again, the complimentary seasonal maintenance, the heater, the AC tune-up and the heater safety check. But even if you're not part of the membership club, still get this heater safety check. Make sure your heater is running efficiently for the cold weather months, and most importantly, that it's running safely during the cold weather months. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Saints are hitting the road, take on the Chargers. Be a Sunday afternoon game. That'll 3:15 kickoff playing out on the West Coast. Jim Harbaugh met with reporters on Wednesday before the Saints head out there, and What's been really interesting about this Chargers team is they've been so good defensively. They're literally the best team, best scoring defense in the NFL. Offensively, they've been stuck in the mud just a little bit, and Jim Harbaugh was asked about kind of getting going offensively after the Monday Night Football loss at Arizona.
On one hand, you could read off of we'll be singing with the choir of woulda, coulda, shouldas, and reasonably so right there. Then there's the hymn where there was plays made, guys. I thought the offensive line, for example, I thought they played good. It was maybe a missed block here, missed block there. I thought the quarterback played great. Will Dissly, his best game, and you can just see the feel that he has for football and getting yards after the catch and, things to build on. Yeah, the quarterback played great.
So the quarterback, by the way, of course, is Justin Herbert, who was asked about the Saints because this is a challenge for L.A., and I don't want to make this about the Chargers. For our perspective, it's more about the Saints. But when you look at the Chargers, they're 3-3. They've beaten the bad teams, and they've lost to the good teams, with the exception being, of course, the game against Arizona. Probably a game that they should have won, albeit on the road. But this is a game with the New Orleans Saints coming in with a backup quarterback and on a 5-game skid that the Chargers should win. I mean, they're a 6.5-point favorite. You don't see touchdown favorites in the NFL very often, but here you have it, even with a 3-3 Chargers team because of where the Saints are, even though the Saints are getting healthy. But Justin Herbert talked about having respect for the Saints despite this losing streak.
We think about those games early on where they took it to their opponents. They're much better than their record indicates. We got a lot of respect for their defense, especially their offense as well. They've got some guys on the back half that are really able to make some plays. I know they've had a few injuries, but the guys that have stepped up have made big plays as well. So you got to be aware of a couple guys on that field, especially where they are. But we got a healthy respect for them, for sure.
I don't know how you could say they're better than their record, because the reality is the Saints are dead last in the NFL in defense right now. And the game against the Eagles where you lost 15-12, which is just mind-boggling that you still had that game in hand and lost it. And then you lost to the Falcons where you didn't allow an offensive touchdown. Since then, the last 3 games have just been a total abomination. Losing 26-13 on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs where you weren't competitive. You came home against Tampa and got blown out 51-27. You got in a 17-0 hole. You dug out of it, then got absolutely walloped after that. And then you were never competitive last week against Denver. So we got 3 games, Carolina, Dallas, Philly, where you were good. And maybe even a half against Atlanta. And then I got 3 games and a half against Atlanta where you were miserable. You were wretched and rotten. So which are you? We've seen both. And you cannot blame the defensive struggles on injuries. You can't do it. Offensively, I get it. And that's why I'm like, I get it. No quarterback, losing 3 offensive linemen, your top 2 receivers, Taysom Hill. I get it. Like, they're not going to be good offensively. I totally understand that. They should be better now as they get healthier. But defensively, that's the bigger question for me. And this is one of those games where I think it's that pendulum swinging game where you prove what you are defensively. Are you more the team that was really good the first 3 weeks, or are you the team that's been pretty miserable and literally the worst team the last 3 weeks? You're going up against a Chargers team offensively that is really struggling to find itself. They're 24th in passing yards. They're right in the middle of the NFL, 18th in rushing yards. They're 26th in scoring offense. They only score 17 a game. This is a Chargers offense that has not been very good. So what are you defensively? What are you defensively? For everyone who's saying about this defense, and even DeMario Davis said it, they're actually, to anyone who say they're not trying or they've quit, not giving effort, he disagreed with that. I don't know, man. I can watch an embarrassing effort late in the game against Tampa Bay and against Denver as well, where you don't want to tackle a soul. I can look at 15 missed tackles in a game and go, that doesn't look like effort to me. You got a chance to turn it around. Chargers are on a short week after Monday Night Football. You're coming off your mini bye. You got 10 days after playing on Thursday. A chance to catch your breath, reset, and you're getting a little healthier. Colin Saunders is back, and also Pete Werner's back. But the point that I made about you had no excuse on defense is all those guys, all of your studs defensively that were there at the beginning of the season when you were playing well defensively are still there. You've still got DeMario Davis. You've still got Carl Granderson and Chase Young and Brian Brzee and Alante Taylor and Marshawn Lattimore and Tyrann Mathieu. Like, all those guys are still there. You can't tell me you go from being a top 5 defense in the NFL to literally dead last because Colin Saunders missed a couple of games or Pete Werner missed a couple of games. It doesn't gel. It doesn't jive. There's something else going on there. And that's when you start to look at the intangibles. You start to look at coaching. You start to look at effort. You look at all those things. This will be very telling. If you're actually the defense that we saw the first 3 weeks, then you should be able to show it against an offense in LA that has really struggled this year. So let's see. Which are you? We're still waiting on Thursday's injury report, the official injury report, although our guy Ross Jackson from LouisianaSports.net was out at practice today. And in the media viewing period, 4 players were absent. Derek Carr, no surprise there. Nick Saldiveri, no surprise there. But also Cedric Wilson and Kendall Vickers were absent. Wilson is battling a hip injury. Vickers, the practice squad defensive lineman, his absence was unknown. But getting Colin Saunders back really mutes that. Vickers wouldn't be active on game day anyway. Wilson is significant, I would say. Wilson had the touchdown reception from Jake Haener on Thursday Night Football. And with no Rashid Shaheed, of course, you're bringing in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You should get Chris Olave back, but Olave, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Cedric Wilson, you'd certainly love to have him out there. So we'll see if he's able to go with that hip injury. But Vickers and Wilson are the 2 new additions. But other than that, you're getting healthier offensively. You should have Cesar Ruiz back this week. You should have Lucas Patrick back this week. You should have Taysom Hill back. You should have Chris Olave back. So you're getting healthier offensively, and you should be more competent. I'm not saying you're going to be good because you're going against the best scoring defense in the NFL. I don't even know that this lends you to winning the football game because even with all those weapons, without your starting center and without your starting quarterback, it's hard to imagine you're going to go on the road and upset when you're a touchdown underdog, the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. But what could give you a chance to do that is if your defense actually shows up with some pride, with some heart, and plays like it did the first 3 weeks. Because if you do that, you'll be in the game and you might even have a chance to win it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. They'll come into your home from birth to end-of-life care. If you need health care for your lifestyle, you need Decision Critical. These are the best of the best. I know the owner, Blaise Rivette, personally. She was a CV nurse when our son Drew was a baby. She helped take care of him. And I trust her. I trust her with my son. I mean, I trust her implicitly. And the level of care, the level of compassion that you need when you need personalized nursing care, they're just the best. It's Decision Critical. Learn more. And if you think, I can't afford it, you need to have that conversation. It's way more affordable than you'd think. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Check them out, DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, y'all. Fantasy Blitz with Darin Tietgen's coming up in 15 minutes. So if you need personalized fantasy football advice, get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. David Nuno from TexAgs in about 45 minutes. Lee Sterling will have his best bets of the week. We'll talk to Mike Triplett in hour 3. We got a ton to do, a jam-packed show. I'm glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I don't know if you've noticed, but you're starting to see more for sale signs pop up all over town. The reason's obvious. I tell you every year, November is the number 1 home selling month in our market every year because people want to move. New home for the new year, new home for the holidays. If you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait. You need to call Darin James. 335-7666, 335-7666. That's Darin's cell. Text him. You don't want to call him? Text him. That is Darin James's cell phone number, the phone in his pocket. Text him. Say, hey, Darin, heard Scone talking about you, thinking about selling my home. Can you help? 225-335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need to sell it fast for the most amount of money possible. Why would you hire anyone other than the realtor that literally sells more homes than anyone? It's Darin James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Fun iron no good, and the rebound Levine. Stripped though by Murray. Taken back. McCollum for 3!
El Presidente. Christian James McCollum.
It starts on the defensive end. Guys understand what we're trying to accomplish. Steals, deflections, finished possessions, with rebounding, and then we playing in the open floor, which is really fun to watch, and we're just seeing a glimpse.
You know what's not fun?
What's not fun?
Yeah, losing DeJounte Murray to a fractured hand after the first game.
That stinks.
I mean, why can't we have nice things?
I'm convinced they're cursed. I really am.
The real bummer is, look, the Pels won and covered. I think it was tied at half. I was listening, actually. By the way, you can now hear Pelicans basketball on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're your new home for Pelicans basketball in Baton Rouge, and we're excited for that partnership. So you can hear Graf and JT. Bro, I'm driving around last night. So every night when I go home, as we kind of get into our evening, one of the things Drew loves to do, and a lot of you know I have a little boy who's 10, and he's a little special needs kiddo, but he loves to just go ride in Daddy's car. So every night we'll just go for a little ride. Just 15 or 20 minutes, just riding around a little bit. And so it was late in the first half. And so I was watching the game, and then we get in the car, and I put it on. I'm listening to Graf and JD on the call, and my God, dude, my guy is just living and dying with every possession like it's freaking June.
Yeah,
I'm like, Graf, it's October the 23rd, man. It's 1 of 82. Pace yourself, brother, but that's why he's awesome. I had people texting me. I'll tell you, like, Michelle Southern, our afternoon drive on Eagle 98.1, our operations manager. Michelle's texting me. She's like, who's the guy that... Wait, I want to read you the exact text.
I want to say, hold on.
No. I want to read you the exact text. I don't think she'd care that I say this, but she was like, she said, who calls the Pels games? Multiple question marks, right? This guy is cracking me and Daniel up, LOL. She puts, he was like, quote, all caps, I am so sick of this, exclamation point, with a facepalm emoji and a laughing face. We were dying. I mean, bro, they had the new general manager on in an in-game interview, and he said, like, Graf said, you got to be tired of the same thing every season. I mean, we're going to play or what? That's what Graf is saying in the in-game interview. And he's like, I'm just really excited to be here. Like, the new GM. There you go, Graf. Game 1. I love my guy, though. It was, I mean, if you ever have the opportunity, listen to the radio broadcast of the Pels. Graf and JD do an awesome job. You feel the game through them, and they're awesome, and really, really enjoy it. So, but the Pels, all that to say, the Pels won. They won by 12, a nice home win where, when the third quarters have notoriously been rough for this team, they outscored the Bulls by 11 in the third quarter and coasted on home, and they win their opener and they cover, and it's a double-digit win. And the only thing we're talking about today is obviously the Devontae Murray injury, we got Devontae Adams on the brain. You can tell.
Murray, present.
It's October. I've still got wires crossed. The DeJounte Murray injury,
Murray, present.
where he's fractured his hand. He's out for an indefinite amount of time. So, yay. I mean, my goodness, this team. And Zion didn't play because apparently he was sick. He had a cold. Non-COVID illness. What does that mean? A non-COVID illness, and you miss a game. I mean, Zion's he's in shape, looking great, lost the weight, bowed up, misses a game with a non-COVID illness. Were you sneezing? Is he pooping?
Little sinuses, that fall air getting to him.
I mean, everybody's got the crud right now. Anyway, Pels are back at it. Start a little road swing here. We'll keep you posted as we move along. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. To schedule service, to shop tires, it's all there for you. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Remember, Morgan City up to Baton Rouge, west into West Baton Rouge, Acadiana. They'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll treat you like family. They're just the best. We keep congratulating Miss Beth Barron, Modern Tire Dealer of the Year, National Award, the Dealer of the Year from Modern Tire Dealer. And they're right here in Louisiana. What a great honor. It certainly speaks to and is a testament to what they've been able to do at Shaw Bills for more than 50 years. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. And, of course, if they'll treat you like family, keep you coming back year after year after year at Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Brady Cook's status for Saturday's game against Alabama. He is doubtful for the game on the first injury report. I'm really bummed about this, to be very honest with you. I really feel like Missouri going into Alabama has a chance to catch a bummed-out Alabama team laying down and sulking. Without Brady Cook, though, it'll be Drew Pine, who really stunk last weekend against Auburn until Cook left the hospital and came back into the game and led the comeback. Pine's played in 4 games this season. Remember, he started at Notre Dame and Arizona State. So if Cook can't go, he's doubtful. It'll be Drew Pine in Tuscaloosa this weekend.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel gave an update on Squirrel White. Actually, some good news on the injury to the receiver. It's a shoulder injury that he already had going into the Alabama game that he re-injured in the third quarter. Heupel said he's confident that White will be good to play in the game against Kentucky a week from Saturday. The Vols getting on a bye this week, some extra time to heal coming off their big win over the Tide. Squirrel White is actually tied for the team lead with 20 catches.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
3 state starters are questionable on the availability report. Wide receiver Mario Craver left the game this past weekend and did not return. He's questionable. Also, defensive end DeMonte Russell and defensive tackle Travion Williams questionable. Williams has started 3 of the 7 games this year and actually leads the defensive line in tackles.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And on 300 tight end, Michael Skinner has committed to Kentucky. He's out of South Carolina, 6'4", 220, the 21st commit for Mark Stoops and his staff. At one point, Skinner had been committed to Cincinnati, decommitted, now has committed to Kentucky. He's a 3-star, the 24th best tight end in the country. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical, a concierge nursing service, decisioncriticalbr.com, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. When we get back here, Darin Tietgen will be with us, whotostart.net, our fantasy blitz. If you are setting your fantasy football roster, before you do, check with our guys over at whotostart.net, the numeral 2. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Fantasy Blitz is next.
AFR.
Hey, get on by Clegg's Nursery, y'all. 1 week from today, Halloween. You know that. So get on by Clegg's Nursery. Over at Clegg's, y'all, they've got pumpkins. And they've got rows and rows and rows and rows and piles and mounds of pumpkins at all their locations. So get on by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. If you need pumpkins for carving, if you need pumpkins for decorating, maybe you're going to carve them, then make that pumpkin pie. You know, if you're going to paint your pumpkins with the kiddos, carve them, or you need a stack of pumpkins for your front porch, your back patio, your office, whatever it may be, now is the time. Clegg's has all different sizes and colors and shapes, and not only pumpkins, but everything you need to decorate. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz. This is the Fantasy Football Blitz. Powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's get it. Wrapping up hour number 1. Time to get to our Fantasy Blitz. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. This should be a better Thursday night matchup, hopefully.
Yeah, last week was dreadful for a lot of different reasons. Let's just not talk about it. Minnesota at L.A. We know Cooper Kupp's going to play with the trade deadline right around the bend. What are we keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, it sounds like Puka Nacua is also going to play. They just activated him off the IR, and if what I'm hearing is correct, he should probably play too. So that's good news for Matthew Stafford owners and anybody that's betting the over tonight. So obviously Justin Jefferson, doesn't sound like T.J. Hawkinson's going to play, but all the pass catchers should be doing some good things tonight. And then, of course, both Kyron Williams and Aaron Jones also should have pretty solid outings as well.
Always keeping an eye on some sleepers. Who are we looking at this weekend?
Yeah, we've got a couple for you. First, at running back, and I hate to say this because he's going against the Saints, but the Saints' run D has been pretty bad. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins is going to be a play, but if you're in a deeper league and looking for a flex play, maybe go for Tamani Vidal, who had a good game a couple weeks ago and probably should get some more run here this week if you're in a deeper league, like I said. Then wide receiver, we like Tyler Lockett quite a bit this week. DK Metcalf sounds like he's going to probably be out. The matchup isn't great, but Geno Smith throws the ball quite a bit, and JSN can't catch everything. So both Lockett and actually Smith's tight end, Noah Fant, both of those guys will be sleepers as well.
All right, let's get to your questions. You know the drill. You can get your questions in for Darin before you set your roster. Get your questions in. who2start.net is the website if you don't get them on the air. who2start.net. Let's start on email. Here's one from Brian who said, I needs 2 wide receivers, Darin. He's got Jaden Reed, Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, and Brian Thomas Jr. Who to start?
I can't sit Brian Thomas right now. That guy is just on fire. Trevor Lawrence is looking his way. Like the matchup. It's a plus matchup for him this week. So I think you're going to probably play him. And then it's hard to sit Cooper Kupp, even if Puka Nacua plays. When Kupp plays, he sees the volume from Matthew Stafford. So I think you got to plug Kupp in tonight and then go with Thomas on Sunday.
Here's one from Dylan on the text line. He's got Hunt or Brian Thomas at flex, 1-point PPR. Who to start?
That's a tough one. As much as I like Thomas, Kareem Hunt's been great for the Chiefs, and this is an absolute smashing matchup for the Chiefs' run game. So I think you got to go Hunt there.
Lance says PPR League said rank the following in order of who to start. He's got Puka, Brian Thomas, and Romeo Doubs. Of those 3, how would you rank them?
Thomas first for sure. I would do a little bit more investigation on Nacua. he would be my second choice if things go to Twitter, go to reputable source that's going to give you some injury information. See if he's going to be on I hate to use this term, but a pitch count. If he sounds like he's good to go, I would probably play him over Dobbs.
Let me get one here from Twitter. Chi said, should I drop Addison from my wide receiver heavy team to pick up Njoku? Said I already have a tight end in Kraft.
I mean, if you could start 2 tight ends in your league, maybe one at flex. Njoku definitely gets a boost with Jameis Winston at quarterback. So, Addison, his value is going to dip a little bit when T.J. Hawkinson comes back. Sounds like that's probably going to be next week. So if you're really strong at wide receiver and want to go with that second tight end, it'll give you some bye week flexibility, as well as Njoku will be a good play at your flex with Winston at the helm.
You say on Twitter here, Aaron Hawkins said who to start. He's got Cole Kmet or Travis Kelce. Who to start?
Boy, it's hard. It sure is hard to start Kelce, but this matchup doesn't really favor the passing game. Although, what I do like about Kelce this week is his ability to score touchdowns. I think this is a touchdown week for Kelce, so I think he might be the safer play. I do like Kmet quite a bit, but in this case, I think Kelsey's probably your best bet.
Darin Tietgen's with us, whotostart.net, the numeral 2, whotostart.net, personalized fantasy football advice. We'll keep rolling along. Let's jump back on the text line. B. Messi said, ask Darin who to start. He's got it's PPR leagues. He's got Javonte Williams, Olave, or Mooney. Who to start?
If you just need one, I think you're going to go with Javonte Williams there. I like the matchup this week. If you need a second one, Mooney has an absolute smash of a matchup against Tampa Bay. I would actually be tempted to start Mooney, but being that Javonte Williams is like we like to say about running backs, they're guaranteed touches, whereas the wide receiver has to, catch the ball to be good. So I think you go Javonte there. If you need a second guy, go with Mooney.
Scott gets this one in every week. Stroud or Geno, who to start?
Oh, boy. I mean, Geno, like I said when I was talking about Lockett, he's going to throw the ball a ton, but the matchup's not super great. Even with Stroud missing Nico Collins here for a week or two more, I think I'm going to lean Stroud there, but it's close.
Darin has a question. Needs quarterback help PPR league. He's got Caleb Williams or Russell Wilson. Who to start?
Yeah, I like Caleb. The matchup's good against Washington. That should be a game that's got some points scored, and Caleb. His trajectory is pointing up in terms of being a fantasy producer, so I do like Caleb there.
See if we can get a couple more in here. Brock made the most of his opportunity here, Darin. He says standard PPR league. He needs flex. Should he start Cortland Sutton or Jalen Waddle? And then at tight end, Kincaid or Mark Andrews? So he got 2 in there.
Okay, so for the wide receiver, I'm definitely going Sutton. Sutton did have 0 catches last week, and that's obviously concerning, but this matchup this week is much, much different, much better for Sutton in terms of who he's going to be facing off on the defensive side of the ball. So I play Sutton there just by a little bit, even though with Tua coming back, Waddle's production will rise. But for this week, you go Sutton. And then I'm not really liking Kincaid all that much this week. He's been kind of a disappointment. And obviously Mark Andrews has been a mild disappointment in the beginning of the season, but he's been on a touchdown streak, and I think that continues this week against a pretty bad Cleveland team. So I think you're going to go with Mark Andrews there.
Maybe we get 1 or 2 more in. Will says Mayfield or Burrow, who to start?
Yeah, until we see what happens at the wide receiver for those Bucks, I think you got to stay away from Mayfield.
Yeah, and Daryl asked about Mayfield or C.J. Stroud. Who should he drop?
Well, if you're in a league that, 12-team league, I'm probably going to drop Mayfield, although he is leading the league in a lot of quarterback metrics, but you can't drop Stroud.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. Guys, so many we didn't get to. My apologies for that. Make sure you get them online at who2start.net, the numeral 2, who2start.net. Thanks, Darin. Enjoy the football.
All right, thanks.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, getting close to that time. You're thinking about popping the question, or maybe you got an anniversary coming up. Remember, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You get the personalized experience of a local store, not the cookie cutter of a big box store, but you get the amazing selection because they go by for 9 different locations. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com, where you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all. Pretty cool honor for one Saints defender. We'll get to that. Mel Kiper's latest big board is out. We'll sift through it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Yo, we're nearing the end of the year. It's a great time to remind you to get on by the Williamson Eye Center and go for that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020, 924-2020. That's the phone number. You can call him right now. Coming up on 4 o'clock here on a Thursday, getting toward the weekend. Maybe this is the time of year where you need that gentle nudge. And I've heard from so many of you over the years, and it does my heart good, where you said, Matt, I thought about LASIK forever. I always put it off. I heard you talking about the Williamson Eye Center. I finally just jumped, went for the consultation, got over my fears, whatever the case were, and the best decision you ever could have made. You hear people say it forever. LASIK's the best decision I ever made, best money I ever spent. Wish I had done it years before. I'm in that number as well. Wish I had done it a decade sooner. When you're ready to be done with contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help. Just go for that consultation. 924-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Rams and Vikings tonight at SoFi. Rams wideout Cooper Kupp expected to play after his ankle injury, but will he be traded? ESPN's Adam Schefter.
The problem is there aren't that many teams in the league that could afford to pay what the Rams would ask in return and pay Cooper Kupp's salary for an aging veteran at this time of the year.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. For the Rams, wideout Puka Nacua also back from a knee injury. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is one step closer to getting back on the field. He practiced fully today, so he can now meet with a neurological consultant, hoping to get final clearance to play. The NFL announces today Lions wideout Jamison Williams gets a 2-game suspension for violating the league policy on performance-enhancing substances. It's official now. The Kansas City Chiefs get wideout DeAndre Hopkins in a trade with the Titans. And the Dodgers will honor Fernando Valenzuela with a uniform patch during the World Series against the Yankees.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Heading to College Station here in about 15 minutes from right now. Our buddy David Nuno from Texags will be here, and then Lee Sterling later this hour. We'll get Lee's picks on the biggest games of the weekend, including LSU, Texas A&M, which really is the premier game in college football. If you haven't been paying attention, that line dropped to a pick'em. A&M was a field goal favorite. It opened as A&M a field goal favorite. It's come all the way down to a pick'em. So, man, as a kind of an indicator of a lot of sharp money coming in on LSU. And if this were a neutral site game, LSU would actually be favored in it. So at this point, so we'll see. It's a good sign as we trend toward kickoff on Saturday night there in College Station. Mel Kiper's got a new big board out. I want to get to that here in just a quick second. Real quick, I saw this earlier today. As a matter of fact, our guy Ross Jackson has a write-up on it over at LouisianaSports.net. But the 33rd team's Twitter account listed the top Havoc play leaders after Week 7. So they update this weekly. So those are a Havoc play is sack, TFL, forced fumble, interception, or pass breakup. And the number one player in the entire NFL through 7 weeks is Alontae Taylor. Now, Alontae Taylor, his coverage grades have not been very good. He's been picked on a little bit there in the slot. As we know, he spent basically his whole career as a boundary corner, but you've got Lattimore and Adebo, and so Taylor has been a nickel back, essentially a slot cornerback during his time in the NFL. But in this defensive structure, they've used him to create clearly a lot of havoc. He had 3 sacks in the game earlier this year. But what's amazing is when you look at that list, Alontae Taylor's at the top, and maybe the company he keeps is a better indicator even still of how impressive this is. I mean, number 2 on the list is Max Crosby, tied with Brian Branch. Then Will Anderson, TJ Watt, Brian Burns, Zach Allen, Jalen Jones, Nick Bolton. I mean, it's impressive. It's an impressive list that Alontae Taylor tops. And it's just another indicator of something we've talked about here, which is, my goodness, man, like, you can't tell me injuries are to blame for what this defense has done the last 3.5 games. Yes, they've had injuries on the offensive side. They've been missing some guys. Pete Werner, Darin left a game with injury. You missed Colin Saunders last week. But it's not like you've been decimated like you have been on the offensive side. Certainly not to the point where you should be literally the worst defense in the NFL. How much can they improve? Hopefully it starts Sunday in L.A. against the Chargers. By the way, one other thing real quick, then we'll talk about Kuiper's big board. When Dennis Allen met with reporters, we led the show on Wednesday talking about Alvin Kamara's extension, and I told you I was impossibly conflicted. I'm fired up because I love Alvin Kamara and I want him to be in New Orleans. I'm disappointed because, in my opinion, what that showed is the New Orleans Saints are continuing as an organization to double down on win now mode. Effectively, this is a roster that needs to get, my contention is, they need to get younger and more affordable to fix their cap. Signing 30-year-old Alvin Kamara to a 2-year extension worth $24 million with $22 million of it guaranteed, you get older and more expensive. It's the opposite of what you should be doing. Kamara is a guy that actually had a tradable contract and still has on-field value, so you could have gotten an asset for him, as tough as it would have been to see Alvin go. Well, Dennis Allen was asked about that Wednesday night.
This is something that you guys don't intend to sell?
Yeah, I don't think we have any intention to do that. We have intention to play better football.
He was asked, is this a sign that you don't intend to sell? Yeah, we don't have any intention to do that. We want to play better. I mean, it's very clear. Actions speak louder than words, but he's telling you what they're doing. They are not trying to sell. Now, that maybe is a better question for the general manager and not the head coach, who's in the fire and is trying to go win a game this week. But it's organizational. It's pretty clear that is the path they're going, despite being 2-5. You want to turn your season around, it's got to start this weekend out in L.A. You get that game, then you go to Carolina. You want to look up, a week from Sunday and potentially be at 4-5, coming home for a massive game in the division. Okay. But you got to go take care of business this weekend. But if you fall to 2-6, then what really are you doing the rest of the way? All right, it's after further review. Before we talk about Mel Kiper's big board, got to remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, Hardy Plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well over at Relief Windows, and they're just the best. When you meet Brandon and Adrian Holly, you'll understand they're amazing people. They're great friends, aside from just business owners, which they're amazing at that too. But they're great people, and you'll understand how wonderful and ethical they are. How when Brandon says, we want to make sure our goal, everybody, our number one goal is customer satisfaction. We want you to be thrilled, and we won't take $1 until you're thrilled. And our Brandon sometimes tells me I kind of get excited when people complain because that's when we get to show people who we really are as a company. You don't hear that often from contractors unless you're doing business with Relief Windows. Y'all, tell you all the time, you want to go get a bunch of different estimates? You want to get 5 different quotes? Don't call Relief Windows. If you're just shopping the cheapest price, they're never going to be that. Very upfront about it. It's a premium product. It's great service. They have an entire service division. You get a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Like nobody else offers these things. It's why you have the best experience and the best product, the best everything. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Mel Kiper's new big board is out again. Remember, the big board is not a mock draft. It's just his player ranking. Who's the best player in the draft, second best player, so on and so forth. Got Travis Hunter number 1 as the best player in this draft, and it's hard to argue against that for his versatility. Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan, he's got it 2, followed by Abdul Carter, the outside linebacker from Penn State. Remember, Kiper has those inside and outside backer, not necessarily a defensive line. Like Michael Williams has got it 4, also an outside linebacker. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle for Michigan, at 5. By the way, 2 Michigan players in the top 5. Doesn't that illustrate just how much they miss their coaching staff from a season ago? You've still got talent on the defensive side of the ball, and you're a shell of what you were, because that whole defensive staff right now is in L.A. with the Chargers, and they got the number one scoring defense in the NFL. He's got Kelvin Banks, 6, the offensive tackle from Texas. Everyone sort of looks at Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell as the top 2 tackles. He's got Banks at 6. Nick Scorton, who the Purdue transfer, who LSU is going to see this weekend at Texas A&M, at 7. Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia, who we had a chance to interview at SEC Media Days, at 8. Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, at 9. God help whatever team might draft a running back in the top 10 or in the first round of this draft. Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia, at 10. Shadur Sanders, the first quarterback off the board there. He's got him highest ranked at 11, followed by Cam Ward at 12. Notice we still haven't gotten to Will Campbell yet. At 13, it's McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. 14, James Pierce, the outside linebacker, edge rusher from Tennessee. And then at 15, there you have Will Campbell, followed by Walter Nolan at 16. What's interesting as well is Campbell isn't the only player from LSU on this list. We had earlier seen Emory Jones. We had seen Harold Perkins. Obviously, with their injuries, they're no longer on that list as well. The one that's going to be interesting to watch to see if he creeps into it is Garrett Nussmeier. But with Mel Kiper, he's one of the ones that hasn't been as bullish on Nussmeier. In addition to the big board, Kiper ranks the top 10 players at every position. He's got Garrett Nussmeier, the 9th best quarterback in the draft. Not the 9th best player on his big board, the 9th best quarterback. Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe 3, which is just stunning to me and calls into question Mel Kiper's ability to evaluate quarterbacks. Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Drew Aller, Jackson Dart, Curtis Rourke, then Nussmeier at 9, and Will Howard at 10. Now, I'm a little split on that because while I believe the film Garrett's put out so far would have him dramatically higher than that, we're starting to see him in a lot of mock drafts in the not only in the first round, but some in the top 10. The LSU side of me is very hopeful that Garrett returns next year because I would love to see what fifth-year senior Garrett Nussmeier would look like in this offense with a defense that's just going to keep getting better. I mean, that's a playoff team. I mean, immediately, you are preseason top 10. You are a favorite to be in the playoff. Remember, you get the same schedule as this year, just home and away flips. So South Carolina comes here. You go to Vanderbilt. Yes, that means you'd have to go to Alabama, but Florida at home, Texas A&M at home, South Carolina at home, Arkansas at home. Yes, give me that, please. Long way to go till then. Okay, in the meantime, immediacy. LSU's got to go to College Station. We'll go to College Station next. Our buddy David Nuno from TexAgs will be here to preview the Aggies. Stay here at AFR.
After further review.
Brought by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Make sure you get on by the Renaissance Hotel if you've never been. It's a Thursday. Maybe you're knocking off of work. Great opportunity to pop on into the Renaissance Hotel. Get on by Tallulah. You can have a cocktail or a glass of wine at the bar. As a matter of fact, my buddy Nathaniel Tannehill, the GM over there at the Renaissance, kind of a whiskey nerd like me, sneaker nerd as well. We're basically kindred spirits. We're both bald with beards as well. So anyway, he has curated a really, really nice whiskey list over at Tallulah inside the Renaissance. So if you want to go have a glass of whiskey or whatever your spirit or your drink of choice may be, you can do it over at the Renaissance Hotel tonight or any night. Remember, if you have an event coming up or you're starting to plan an event, remember the Renaissance Hotel. No matter how big, from a board room for a dozen people up to their ballroom for 500 people and anything in between, the Renaissance Hotel can help make your next event amazing. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com. The Tigers are on the hunt. Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
It's going to be a huge challenge. It's going to be a great environment. It's going to be an opportunity for us to go out there and show we belong on this stage. And I've taken this program where we all thought we wanted it to go. It's a great opportunity. It's a great venue. They're a great team. We're a talented team. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mike Elko getting set to welcome in the Tigers. Some buzz out of College Station is that, this is maybe the most anticipated game there since A&M has been in the SEC. Can that be true? Let's find out. David Nuno is our buddy from Texas A&M. Good enough to join us now. David, great to chat, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I wouldn't say the most anticipated game, but I would say the game with the most implications, right? Like A&M has not played in such a meaningful game that could decide, a chance to be in the playoffs. Now, during the COVID season, they did go 9-1. I think they should have been in the playoffs. They were not. But those were 25,000 people in attendance. This game here against LSU, against two teams that I think fell under the radar for a little bit, especially after week one, to be in this position has raised the stakes. One team is still going to be mathematically into it, but the other one has put themselves in pole position for Atlanta, with still some work to do, but certainly in a phenomenal spot.
Yeah, man. With whoever wins this game, we'll go into November still with a game to play with, where you feel like you could lose again and still be in great position. So a ton on the line. Hey, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. So the news we got on Wednesday night was that Chase Basantis is out. How big of a deal is that for A&M's offensive line?
Pretty big deal. I mean, he's one of our most consistent, best linemen. The line has actually had a lot of problems this year with injury situations. A couple centers back and forth. Coley went out for a little bit. They lost Mark Naboo after the first game of the season. They've had other injuries. Armez Reed has been out at times too. So Armaj Reed Adams has been out. So there's been some injuries there. But that being said, the guys that have come in have stepped up and done a very nice job. And that's what you need in the SEC. These injuries do happen. They've had so many guys go up and down out of the lineup on that offensive line. There have been people who can get in there. And Cam Dewberry stepped in last week, did a phenomenal job. We've seen him in multiple spots. So it's a big loss, but not one that they have not kind of gotten used to and have overcome in the past this season.
What's going on with Connor Wegman? Been up and down. Obviously, there's been an injury. Been seemingly up and down.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things going on. I would say outside of Nuss, who hasn't been up and down in the SEC, right? Like Nuss has been pretty consistent good. But when you look at some of the other guys, and I'm not comparing Connor's stats to what we've seen from other quarterbacks, like Carson Beck, who's had his ups and downs. Quinn Ewers finally had a down against a very good opponent in Georgia. I think with Connor, a couple things are happening. The game against Mississippi State, I thought he played pretty well. He had 4 throws he'd want to have back. And I guess I'm grading on a curve here. Mm-hmm. He also had amazing plays on third down. There was a 3rd and 23 situation where Mississippi State certainly had an opportunity to get some momentum, and he completed a pass to Trey Watson, the tight end. They got the first down. They were able to score a touchdown a couple plays later. He's really good. I think you saw the stat out there that he's been much better with pressure in his face than when he's got a clean pocket, which is a strange phenomenon. I think with Connor is when he gets rattled, it does affect him. But again, like what Jackson Dart's had his issues, right? Outside of Nuss, who has been really, really good. Jalen Milroe has his hot spots and then struggles as well. I think Connor, we got to remember he is, yes, been in the system or 3 different systems at A&M, but he still hasn't played a complete season. I think this is going to be his 12th game going into this game against LSU.
Wow.
And that kind of tells you a little bit about his story.
That is great perspective. Came in so highly regarded, but you're right. Injuries have been one of the footnotes, if not a main chapter of his career. What about the weapons around him? I think, look, everybody here knows Le'Veon Moss from Baton Rouge. I'm not sure, David, I see the terrifying receivers that have been at A&M in the past. Evan Stewart, Moose Muhammad, Aniyah Smith, those types of guys. Are those guys on this team?
I don't think so, but Moose Muhammad is still on the roster. He's just not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing.
But he's still on the roster. Yeah, I would say no. But one thing I will say, you don't know who's going to get the call that day, right? You'll have Noah Thomas, who's been the closest thing to an alpha wide receiver on the team. He doesn't scare a lot of people, but he's got size. He's certainly got game-breaking ability. But they've been able to spread the ball. Jabri Barber, who got hurt, was supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver in theory after spring ball. He got hurt, comes in way earlier than expected, and finally had a really nice game this past weekend against Mississippi State. As I mentioned, Noah Thomas has had his games. You've had Ja'Day Walker have his moments. Cyrus Allen had the big game against Florida. One thing that this Colin Klein offense will do is they will spread the ball, and there isn't that Kyron Lacey, if you will. But there are some folks out there that will make you pay, and when Le'Veon Moss is going, it opens everything else up.
David, what did Notre Dame do so well to limit the A&M offense?
That's a great question. First off, they have a really good defensive line.
Yeah.
Like that, probably the best defensive line A&M has faced and will face this season outside of Texas. That's part of it. The other part is I think Connor was so bad in that game. And look, we just talked about Connor, the ups and downs. He was fantastic against Missouri. He was okay against Mississippi State. He was not good against Notre Dame. The A&M lost that game by 10 points, but that was really a tie game with 2 minutes left in the game. They had their opportunities. They had to go for it on 4th down, and then Notre Dame gets the short side of the field. A&M had a hard time establishing their run in that game. That was the one time that Le'Veon Moss really kind of struggled. And I wouldn't say he struggled. They just kind of had to abandon the run at times because they just couldn't get anything going. I think that's part of the reason. Like it's the fact that when Connor, who struggled so much with his happy feet, and you're not able to establish the run, but hey, you were tied in the 4th quarter. You can only, with 2 minutes left, that's what you asked for at Caulfield, to have that opportunity. That game didn't go their way. Since then, they've kind of rectified it.
David Nuno's with us, Tex Ags. You can get him on Twitter, X at David Nuno, Nuno, if you want to follow him. While the offense might be a little uneven throughout the year, David, there's no questioning the defense. Mike Elko is a great defensive coach, and despite losing some pretty key players, guys like Walter Nolan, they've been really good defensively. Is there something defensively year to year, especially considering some of the transfers or players they lost? Is there something that maybe has surprised you where they've exceeded defensively an expectation that you, or maybe generally speaking around the program, they had?
I think the secondary is way better than anyone expected. Now, Billy Lucci, I will give him credit in the spring. He's like, this secondary is going to be pretty good. Will Lee has been a phenomenal addition. Now, let's all go back to how a secondary and the defensive line need to work together, right? The defensive line creates those opportunities for the secondary to jump on some of these balls, but Will Lee has been so good there at cornerback. And, there's been injury back there as well. But Bryce Anderson going back to his normal safety position. Dalton Brooks has really grown as a second-year player and really he got in trouble a couple of games by the targeting call that took him out of a couple of games. But he has grown into a really, really nice player. I think the secondary has been the surprise. Linebacker, a little bit of a surprise, too. Not that you don't expect nice linebacker play from Torian York, but when Edge Cooper goes to the NFL and that linebacker group struggles so much, because they did struggle in that Notre Dame game, to see what they've been able to do since that point, it has been so nice to see. I mean, Scooby Williams has been a great addition. And that's probably another part of this team, Matt, that I think should be stated. Mike Elko, teams go get transfers, right? Brian Kelly finds some transfers. Ole Miss certainly goes and gets transfers. Alabama does. You got to get the right transfers. And if you look at this team, the transfers that they have gotten have been the right transfers. Will Lee fits into the culture. Nick Scorton, obviously, he can fit in any culture as good as he is. But they've hit the lottery with some of these transfers that not only are producing on the field, fit with what Mike Elko wants to do.
You know, David, even if people listening haven't watched a lot of A&M football, they probably heard Nick Scorton's name, and especially if you go read mock drafts or big boards and all that stuff. He's all over them. Are we going to get to see Scorton at that right end spot, a Scorton-Will Campbell matchup? Are they going to move him around? Might we see him on the other side against Emory Jones? Where best and how best do they use him?
I've seen him on both sides, but I do think we're going to see quite a bit of that. And that's going to be a fascinating matchup, right? Because when you talk about the offensive line that LSU has, am I right? I believe the number out there is they've only been sacked twice, and the last time was against South Carolina. Is that correct? Am I right on that number?
Both sacks came against South Carolina. So 6 of the 7 games they haven't given up a sack.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And A&M took a little while to get some sacks. They didn't happen right away. It took a few games. And once it started happening, they've been kind of trickling in, and there's been a nice consistency to it. I think we're going to get that matchup. And I think America, outside of Baton Rouge and College Station, you're going to be treated to he's going to win some, the other guy's going to win some. It's going to be phenomenal.
What about the kicking game? David, I always like to ask, the way I kind of ask it is, all right, there's 6 seconds left, 4 seconds left. Aggies are down by 2 and lining up from the left hash from 49. How confident are you that Bond makes the kick?
Pretty confident. 49 a little bit out of his range, I think.
47.
I think he had a 47. 47 the other day. But, he has been really good. He had one, little hiccup at Florida when A&M already had a nice lead, and that game was already over, but it made it interesting for a few minutes there in the third quarter. But he's been really solid this year. He has grown quite a bit from last season. But you don't know until you get into these pressure cooker games, right? This is the game that if he's needed, we will find all out about him. But so far, I think he's been passing with flying colors. The last time he missed a couple of field goals was in the game that was already done.
David, what's the blueprint for Mike Elko if the Aggies get out of Kyle Field with a win on Saturday?
The blueprint is exactly what he says, and it sounds like coach speak, and it is coach speak, but it works. Just worry about the 6 inches in front of you. Worry about the next day. Do not worry about Texas. Do not worry about the SEC championship. Don't worry about that. The next thing is worry about South Carolina if you're able to beat LSU. And if you aren't able to beat LSU, then you got to go back to work and do the exact same thing. It's the process. He is such a process-driven coach. And I know coaches say that, but they preach it all the time. You hear the players regurgitate it when they come into our studios. It is really about the next day, the next moment. And, by the way, he learned a lot from Brian Kelly. He talked about him quite a bit. These brilliant coaches fall in love with the process. They don't fall in love necessarily with the results because the results come when you follow the process.
David Nuno, TexAgs. Get him on Twitter, X, at David Nuno, Nuno. Hey, man, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game Saturday. Actually, I hope you have a great day Saturday, but I hope you have a miserable 3.5 hours watching the football game.
It's interesting. I was thinking the same thing for you, man.
Always good to chat, man. Thank you.
See you, Matt.
All right, bud. Be well. He's one of the good guys. David Nuno. Always appreciate a couple minutes. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, do what Louisianians have done for more than 100 years. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Everybody knows they're first in agriculture, so all the farmers know. You want 1,000 acres for ag, yeah, you're going to call First South Farm Credit. But you want that hunting property, that recreational property. Maybe you're looking to buy land, some timber land as an investment property. Talk to your CPA. See how that could be great on your balance sheet. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. For more than 100 years, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Again, FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. Muse, Paulie, and I'll give you 3 things on our what to watch this football weekend. Lee Sterling in 15 minutes with his picks of the top 5 games, including LSU, Texas A&M. We'll get to that. Mike Triplett in 45 minutes. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Business owners, if you are in the hiring rat race, get off the hamster wheel. Call Glow Resources. They can help. Glow Resources, they're not a temp staffing agency. That's not what they do. They're not interested in talking to prospective employees. They are complete employer solutions, is what they say. If you're trying to find the right people for your business, Glow Resources can help. Over the course of a given year, they'll conduct some 15,000 interviews of prospective employees for your job. Exactly the job you're trying to find. Skilled blue-collar labor, or their professional placement division finds qualified people for any type office job. Even C-level management. It's Glow Resources. Yep, their corporate headquarters right here in Baton Rouge. They got offices all over, and they help place employees in jobs all over the country and all over the world. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Glow Resources, complete employer solutions.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Always appreciate our friends over at Decision Critical. DecisionCriticalBR.com, concierge nursing service. look, they're going to start with your insurance plan, and they'll try to fill in the gaps where they can, where you need. So check them out. If you're worried about cost of concierge nursing service, doesn't matter if you're coming home after the hospital with a brand new baby or it's end-of-life care and everything in between, maybe post-operative, maybe you need help. These are amazing, qualified, registered nurses. Every nurse handpicked by the founder, CEO, Blaise Rivette. Could not recommend them highly enough. DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, Lee Sterling in 10 minutes. Give us his 5 plays for the weekend, the biggest games. We'll talk LSU, Texas A&M, get a pick there. Mike Triplett coming up next hour. Right now, heading into the football weekend, Muse, Paulie, and I each point out 3 things we're keeping an eye on. We call it What to Watch. Hit it.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All righty. Muse, you want to start us off? Fire away.
I will. Let's start on Friday night, shall we? Big one in the Group of 5. Biggest Group of 5 games so far this season with massive playoff implications, and it comes in the Mountain West. Boise State travels to UNLV, face the Rebels. All eyes will be on Ashton Jeanty here. Can he carry Boise State to their biggest win of the season? If he does, they are on the fast track to the Mountain West Championship. Really, either team that comes away, fast track to the Mountain West Championship. For what it's worth, the Broncos, 3.5-point favorite in the game on the road.
We're watching Notre Dame and Navy. Navy's back in the top 25. This will be the 97th meeting all time between these two teams. Notre Dame leads 82-13-1.
Yeah, they had like a 40-year win streak.
Yeah. Irish have won 6 straight, and this game will be at MetLife.
Carolina at Denver. That's the one we're all looking forward to, right?
Can't wait.
Well, Bryce is going to start.
I saw that.
Andy Dalton got in a car wreck, so he's out. And Bryce is going to start again. So he spent the past couple of weeks effectively on the scout team, former #1 overall pick. So you had a chance to sit, catch your breath, watch for a couple weeks. Now it's your show again. What do? You keep an eye on it. Obviously, Panthers in the Saints division. Bryce getting a second crack at it. We'll see what he does.
Sneaky matchup in the NFL this week.
Ooh, I love a sneaky matchup.
This is a matchup of first-place teams. The Buffalo Bills travel out to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Of course, Seahawks coming off of a romp of the Atlanta Falcons this past weekend.
You love to see it.
You really do. Buffalo coming off a romp of the Tennessee Titans because they're really bad. Cross-country travel for for Buffalo. Maybe advantage Seahawks. Let's see.
I'll be keeping an eye on Cardinals-Dolphins, not so much for the game, but this could be the return of Tua. He returned to practice this week. He's been cleared by doctors after suffering another concussion. He did miss 4 games on IR. Many suggest he should have retired because of his concussions, but he spoke earlier this week and said he loved the game and he was coming back to play.
Chiefs are 6-0. They're undefeated, and they traded for Tennessee receiver DeAndre Hopkins this week. He gets away from an awful team, goes to an undefeated team, gets to play in meaningful games. We all know all the injuries that they've had from Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice and Pacheco. Well, now you get a weapon. We'll see how much gas that D-Hop still has left in the tank, but to see him in Chiefs Kingdom will be interesting, so keep an eye on what D-Hop does here in his first game with Kansas City.
Can I interest you in a top 25 matchup in Nashville, Tennessee?
You absolutely can, with netting in front of the visitor stands as well, because those visitors from Austin, they're known to throw a thing or two onto the field.
They're rowdy. They're very rowdy.
You think they could get it over the net?
That'd be pretty
bottles
fun.
Over the net?
I mean, that's the challenge you instill, right, by doing this.
Don't pour over me.
Yeah. This feels like a spot where everybody wants Vandy and wants to believe in Vandy. It's the biggest home game they maybe have ever had. And Texas just has to be out for blood this week, right? After what happened, I think this could be a huge win for Texas, by a lot.
I'm going to keep an eye on Ravens and Browns because of our old friend Jameis.
Yeah, eat
Miss
that
him.
dub.
He's getting the start for the Browns.
Eat
Deshaun
that
Watson out for the season with a ruptured Achilles. Winston has made 80 starts in his career. This will be his first start since 2022 with New Orleans.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Hey.
College football ground zero for week 9. Isn't game day going to Bloomington this week?
It is.
Washington at Indiana in a traditional Big Ten battle of a traditional battle of Big Ten heavyweights.
They've played it forever.
The Washington Huskies, the Indiana Hoosiers. Everyone likes Indiana this year. I mean like everyone's cheering for Indiana. They're a feel-good story. Kurt Cignetti's awesome. Curtis Rourke has been great. Found out Rourke with the thumb injury is going to have surgery, but there's a chance they could get him back in 2 weeks. So this week it's Taven Jackson. Former Tennessee quarterback Taven Jackson, who transferred back to his home state. He'll get the opportunity this week to keep Indiana's perfect season alive. The Hoosiers are 7-0, looking to move to 8-0. They're about a touchdown home favorite over the Washington Huskies, who are just 4-3, 2-2 in the Big Ten. Oh, you mean it's easier to play in the Pac-12 than it is in the Big Ten? Shocker that would actually be a thing that happened. I guess it helps when you have Michael Penix, too, but they got Will Rogers. Will Rogers. All right, there you have it. That's what to watch. 3 things Muse, Paulie, and I will be keeping an eye on this weekend as we kick off for football weekend tonight on Thursday Night Football. We'll give you a thumbnail on Thursday Night Football as well coming up in hour 3. Otter Locks. By the way, Jimmy's picks are already live over at LouisianaSports.net. Go to the sports betting page. You want Otter Locks, you can get them right there. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with locations all over the country. More than 30 different offices across a dozen different states. If you weigh or measure something at Michelli, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. At Michelli, they like to say, we show the world what measurement can do. They offer ISO 17025 accredited calibration. Also, their track system, Track Records, Assets, and Calibrations, TRAC, that gives you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. So let's say you get audited. You know exactly when that piece of machinery was calibrated, the date, down to the name of the technician who calibrated it. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, y'all, glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. A lot to get to. We'll break. Lee Sterling will be here to give us his picks on top 5 games of the weekend, including LSU, Texas A&M. And we'll take a closer look at Brian Kelly and Mike Elko and their relationship. Dive a little deeper into that about 20 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hurry, y'all. Hurry, hurry, hurry. You want to be part of those turnarounds we've been telling you about for Action Industries? Apply now, online or in person. Been thinking about it on the fence. Do you want to apply? If you're looking for work, here's a chance. Action Industries. Action Industries got 2 turnarounds coming up. All the work's local to the greater Baton Rouge area. Welders, pipe fitters, crane operators, boiler makers, they want to hear from you. Get online, actionindinc.com, Action Industries Incorporated, actionindinc.com. One more time, actionindinc.com, or you can just go apply in person. Highway 30 in Geismar, go into the office. You can ask for Zach. You can apply in person right there. Not only do they have these 2 turnarounds, 4 or 5 week turnarounds, working 7/12s. They were just awarded a 12-month contract as well. It's coming up in 2025. So get on board for that. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
Winning week last week, 3-2 for our guy Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. Good enough to join us here to talk about some of the biggest games in the weekend. Lee, how are you?
I'm good. Seems like every week my Miami Hurricanes have an exciting game, and then the Dolphins let me down the next day. So hopefully Tua does something so we maybe get to 500.
Life of a football fan, man.
Oh, it is. I mean, you last week, with LSU looking great, and then seems like the last couple weeks, Saints, one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah, they stink, but they're getting healthy. We'll get to the Saints in a bit. Let's start with another team that's licking their wounds, Alabama. They dropped one at Tennessee. They're already ready to fire the coach. I'm just laughing my ass off, enjoying every minute of it. They're a 2-touchdown home favorite against Missouri. Looks like Drew Pine's probably going to play in that game. Missouri got a shot?
It's already up to 17 and a half.
Oh, wow.
So with that news, just one sky high. So I've seen Drew Pine before, and he never looks great, but he came in that game. He couldn't complete a 5-yard out pass. I don't know what happened. Usually quarterbacks come in, they don't have much time to think about it, and they usually look pretty good, but makes no sense. I mean, played a bunch at Notre Dame, even started a game or two at Arizona State. Maybe with a week of practice he looks better. These two teams haven't met since the conference opener in 2020. Bama, as we know, is in danger of losing 3 times for the first time since 2007. Something's also wrong with Jalen Milroe. I mean, he is just all over the place throwing the football. And their secondary is banged up here and probably not real talented. I think if we were honest with each other, I think most people thought this was not going to be a great Alabama team. But that first half against Georgia just raised the expectations. Now, here's something else I think also is concerning. Alabama last year, top 10 in being penalized just 48 yards per game. This year, 127th. They're penalized over 78 yards per game. The discipline isn't there. I think they're going to beat Missouri. If Cook was playing here, they might have a chance to beat them, but I think their defense is rock solid. I think Alabama wins 28-20.
Okay.
Even with Drew Pine starting this game. I'll take the 17 points.
Missouri with the points. Yeah. What about in Oxford, where Ole Miss is a 3-touchdown favorite over Oklahoma? I don't know the last time Oklahoma was a 3-touchdown underdog, which is stunning to see. But what do they do?
They were a big underdog, I think, maybe near the end of the Howard Schnellenberger regime when that went bad. They've had a couple, little hiccups, but nothing like this. A few years ago, Oklahoma hired a defense-minded coach to replace a string of offensive-minded guys whose teams produced a lot of wins and a lot of points. Talented offensive players have been fleeing that program for several seasons now. I don't know how they're going to pick it back up in the 3 SEC games. They've scored 15, 3, and 9 points here. They're going to face an opponent, and Ole Miss averaging 6 yards per snap and hasn't even played that well the last couple games. I just think the host off of a bye is going to be ready to go. And another factor, Oklahoma's going to have a new offensive coordinator. They fired their offensive coordinator, and Joe John Finley, he's listed as the co-offensive coordinator, but I checked. I do not believe he's called plays before. He's going to try to piece something together here. Good luck with that. Ole Miss big, 41-10.
We got the other college game I want to talk about, of course, is LSU and Texas A&M. Yeah. And we've seen line movement there as well, Lee, where Tigers were a 3-point dog. Earlier today, I checked it down to a pick. So what's going on there with some of that line movement?
Well, I think people realize this LSU team has really improved. I mean, both these two teams, since the opening game, A&M lost their opener against Notre Dame. And I think most of that is explained as being, new coaching staff, getting plays in and out, and a lot of new faces playing with each other for the first time. LSU just didn't play well. But if LSU was to play USC, I truly believe they'd win by 2 touchdowns right now. You agree with me, Matt?
You'd be better at handicapping that, but I think LSU is probably 2 scores better than SC right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Garrett Nussmeier is really settling in, 18 touchdowns, and maybe on top of that, even as impressive, not a real good run-blocking offensive line, but they've only allowed 2 sacks, this offensive line here. So it gives him time to really be able to survey the field, and his receivers are getting a lot of separation. Lacey, Anderson, and Taylor tied in here. Underdog 3-0-1, the last 4 in the series. Wrong team favorite. LSU 28-24, straight up.
Lee, going with the Tigers, man. What a win it would be if LSU heads into that bye before Alabama at 7-1. My goodness, that would be an incredible scene in Baton Rouge. We'll get some of the NFL plays. Lee, let's remind people if they want to call your line and get the number, how do they do that?
So this is one of those rare weekends where everything's going on. We've just had an incredible year. We've won 7 out of 8 weeks. I went 10-4 last week, including our 40-unit max wager on the Cincinnati Bearcats. How about this? I know there's a lot of people love to get involved. I developed a special. I've never done this one before. It's the Halloween Stuart Scott Booyah Bundle. $147. You get all our football plays from Friday through Sunday, 9 to 12 plays there. You're going to get Baseball World Series, Game 1 and 2, hockey the entire weekend, and NBA basketball. Bought everything individually, be over $400, $147 for the Halloween Booyah Bundle, ParamountSports.com.
The Booyah Bundle, I love it. The Stuart Scott special. ParamountSports.com. You can also get the free play. This week is Chargers and Saints. What's the phone number for the free play?
Yep, 800-400-9741.
800-400-9741. 800-400-9741. 2 NFL games you like, San Francisco and Dallas?
Yeah, so this is a great setup here. I think there's some real problems right now in San Francisco. Partially injuries, and this team's just not the same. So now you got Brandon Ayuk done for the season. Their Swiss Army knife, Deebo Samuel, may not play because of a bout with pneumonia. Next 2 wide receivers, not 100%. Even their tight end, George Kittle, listed as questionable. I like the fact that Dallas is coming off of a bye. Dallas lost to the Niners twice in 18 months, 1 time in the playoffs here. This San Francisco defense, just not very good. Number 23 in yards per pass play allowed. I think Dak's going to finally have a big game. He's engaged. He's ready to go. Dallas, 30-20.
Wow, Dallas getting the outright win, big win over the Niners if they can get it. All right,
they need it.
Last one. Look, this one. If the Saints are going to get back in the division, Lee, they're going to need help. So Atlanta, Tampa. This one where you kind of just you grit your teeth and you pull for Atlanta and try to pull Tampa back a little bit closer. Falcons are a 2-point favorite in this game. What do you think?
They are, and I think Atlanta last week was in a bad spot. I mean, they had beaten 3 straight division opponents. Then they face a team they're not familiar with, and a team that was desperate, had lost 3 straight. Got off to a poor start, could never catch up. And when you look at this Tampa Bay team, now all of a sudden Tampa Bay was out their top 2 receivers. Baker Mayfield, when he's hot, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. When he's bad, trying to force stuff in. Look out, they're in trouble here. Coming off a Monday night game. I know Atlanta won the first game, but I think they do it again here, 27-20.
All right, see if the Falcons can go get it done. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, ParamountSports.com. Check out that Stuart Scott Halloween Booyah bundle. You can also call him for that free play. 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741. Always appreciate it, Lee. Enjoy the football this weekend, man.
Sounds good. See you, Matt. Take care. Be safe.
That's our pleasure. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Thinking about installing a Generac automatic home standby generator? You need to call the Generator People. Look, if you need a roof, you call a roofing company. You need, unclog a pipe, you call a plumber. You need a Generac, you call the Generator People. That's all Optimize does, is generators. They're not an electrical company that has a generator division, not an HVAC company that also does generators. All of their technicians, all they do is service and install Generac automatic home standby generators. That's why they are the Generator People. Financing to fit any budget, quote, price guarantee, and, of course, turnkey installation. It's Optimized. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, y'all, Brian Kelly versus Mike Elko. We'll dive in next.
AFR.
My goodness, y'all, we are getting closer to dinner time on Thursday, and you know what that means. It's what I've been telling you about for several weeks now. Our friends over at Supper Club and Chef Layton is serving up prime rib. It is the Thursday special at Supper Club. This is one day only. It's the only day of the week you can get the prime rib special. It is 21-day, dry-aged, bone-in tomahawk ribeye, slice and serve tableside. You have got to try it. The only night you can get it is Thursday at Supper Club. But that ain't all. There's more. Stone crabs are in jumbo size available. They are awesome. Came in last week for the first time. And this week's wine, a 2011 Chateau Latour. It's first growth Bordeaux. 1 ounce pours for $65. The bottle is $4,000. You could try it by the ounce Thursday, tonight at Supper Club. Get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com or just walk in there to the bar area. It's Supper Club.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. NFL Week 8 kicks off tonight as the Rams host the Vikings. In the midst of trade rumors, Rams wideout Cooper Kupp expected to play after missing 4 games with an ankle injury. Teammate Puka Nacua also active after missing 5 games with a knee injury. ESPN's Shams Charania reports Pacers center James Wiseman has a torn left Achilles tendon. He got hurt during the season opener last night against the Pistons. 6 more NBA teams play their openers tonight. The Clippers opened their new arena with an overtime loss to the Suns last night. ESPN's Tim Legler.
I thought Phoenix really played with poise down the stretch. Kevin Durant alluded to it. This was a team that really got out of sorts offensively for a long stretch in the second half of this game. And I credited the Clippers defense. They've got a lot of quickness, a lot of length. I think that's their identity until Kawhi Leonard comes back.
Tim Legler. The Sixers say Paul George will miss at least 2 more games with a bone bruise in his left knee. Pitt and Syracuse college football tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
News. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. By the way, 1 day from right now, 24 hours from right now, is when we'll announce the winner for the Taylor Swift tickets. Still time to enter. Our friends over at Mockler Beverage, our great show open sponsor, Bud Light, they're giving away a pair of tickets to this Sunday's Taylor Swift show in the Superdome in the Mockler Suite. If you have not entered, you can. It's free to enter. Just go to the website, 1045ESPN.com, fill out the form. You'll see it right there on the homepage. Fill out the form. You can enter. We'll announce tomorrow, 5 o'clock, the winner at 1045ESPN.com. So go enter right now. There's still time. All right, Mike Triplett in 12 minutes. We'll talk some Saints-Chargers. Love having Mike Triplett with us every week. One of the big storylines of LSU Texas A&M is Brian Kelly against Mike Elko. Of course, Brian Kelly hired Mike Elko as his defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. And when Brian Kelly was hired at LSU, we lauded Brian Kelly's ability to hire great defensive coordinators. I mean, it really has been a feather in his cap over his career. Bob Diaco was one of his defensive coordinators at Notre Dame who got hired to be the head coach at UConn after that. Brian Van Gorder thing didn't go great, but Mike Elko was hired by Brian Kelly, of course, went to A&M as the DC, then to Duke as the head coach, now the A&M head coach. Clark Lee was one of Brian Kelly's defensive coordinators at Notre Dame, and then now obviously is the head coach at Vanderbilt. Marcus Freeman, Brian Kelly, LSU tried to hire him, took the Notre Dame job instead. Now he's the head coach at Notre Dame. Brian Kelly's done a pretty good job hiring defensive coordinators, and Mike Elko was in that number as well. And the two obviously have been asked a lot this week about working for each other. Here's what Mike Elko said on Monday when he was asked about working for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame.
I learned a lot. Brian's a really, really successful head coach that maybe isn't into the huge self-promotion business. He's the winningest coach in Notre Dame football history. I don't know that that's something that rolls off of everyone's tongue, and so he's been successful everywhere he's been. He kind of had a similar, my defensive coordinator path kind of married his head coach path, right? It started D2, worked its way all the way up through. He had success kind of everywhere he went, and so, a ton of respect for him, who he is. Certainly appreciate him giving me the opportunity he did to be the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, and he's a really good coach. He does a really good job getting the best out of his team.
Elko was at Wake Forest. He went from Bowling Green he went from the Ivy League to Bowling Green to Wake Forest to Notre Dame. So Brian Kelly has noticed that coaching talent and given those coaches opportunity. You can say what you want about Matt House. It didn't end well, but the first year with Matt House at LSU went well, and Matt House had a history of being a good defensive coordinator. Just didn't really work here a year ago, obviously. On the flip side, Brian Kelly was asked about Mike Elko and said very similar nice things.
First of all, he's extremely well organized. He has a plan for everything. He is demanding on his players and his staff, but never demeaning. He is fair and has a standard and an expectation. Communicates well with his players, and that's why he's successful. He has all the important components of a leader, and saw that when he was my defensive coordinator, and knew that he was destined to be a leader of a football program in a very short period of time.
Two really good coaches that had an early struggle this year, losing week one, and both have not lost since. And Mike Elko has done it, losing his starting quarterback for 3 games right there in the middle of that run. But this is a different type of challenge for A&M. It is very fair to say this will be the best offense that Texas A&M will have faced this year. But one of the things before this season, we do the thing where, I guess I'm repeating a conversation we had before the Ole Miss game, but you'll understand why in a second. Media days, whatever, we do the thing where you get the schedule and you go through and say where you're going to win or lose and why and all. And I had LSU had LSU beating Ole Miss and losing to Texas A&M. And a lot of you didn't like that. But the reason was the spot. It's what I always talk about. When I'm making a preseason prediction, it's who has the most manageable schedule with the fewest questions. And LSU had a lot of questions. You're losing Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, a lot of questions. Terrible defense a year ago, new defensive staff, how much better are you? A lot of questions against what looked like on paper very difficult schedule. And I looked, though, at that Ole Miss spot, and I said, man, Ole Miss, exactly what we talked about. 7 consecutive games, 3 consecutive SEC games, back-to-back road conference games, LSU coming off a bye, at home. Ole Miss hasn't won in Baton Rouge since 2008. All those things I said before the season, I liked Ole Miss. Now, the week of the game, I picked Ole Miss because I thought Ole Miss had played better up until that point. We hadn't seen LSU really play clean, which goes to show you just how much an opinion can change over the course of 2 weeks when a team continues to grow and develop, and as we always say, teams are allowed to get better. But I had LSU losing to A&M for a similar reason. Now LSU is playing back-to-back road conference games. This is a third consecutive SEC week. Emotional game against Ole Miss, then at Arkansas, now at Texas A&M, which will be huge. They're asking everybody to wear black. It's going to be a blackout. You heard David Nuno say maybe the most significant game this late in the season since A&M has been in the SEC. They've had other really big games. They've beaten Bama a couple times and stormed the field. But as far as what's on the line at the end of October, the most significant game A&M's played since they've been in the league, it's fair to say. And so you look at that, and the spot very much favors A&M. They did play on the road last week in the league, but they had a bye, then they were at Mississippi State. Now they're at home for this one. But our guy Chris Marler sent me this, and this was shocking. And Marler works with us over at LouisianaSports.net. He's our lead SEC guy, and although I give him all kind of hell because his quarterback rankings and his power rankings are straight trash, and I just make fun of him for it every week. He does a good job, especially with his research. Listen to this. For all that I've talked about the back-to-back road conference games, it matters. I think LSU 2019, check myself on this, but the only team, in the last 20 years, it hadn't happened often that LSU has won back-to-back road conference games. I'll put it to you that way. 2019 did it. But how about this number? Every Friday, Marler puts out a piece at LouisianaSports.net. It's numbers to know. It's interesting stats and facts and factoids about the SEC games that weekend. And he shared this, so this one will be published tomorrow. I'm giving you a sneak peek at it. The number is 77.8. How about this? Brian Kelly in his college career is 14-3-1 against the spread for a winning percentage of 77.8 on a road trip, second consecutive games or more, 2 consecutive games or more on the road, where his team is on normal rest or at least 7 days. How about that? His last loss, Brian Kelly's last loss when he's been on the road back-to-back weeks and on normal rest, 2006 was Central Michigan. How about that? For all we've talked about, and I've talked about, the back-to-back road conference games and how that has been a bugaboo. I mean, last year LSU went back-to-back at Ole Miss, at Missouri. Of course, they lost the Ole Miss game. So it is not easy to go on the road in consecutive weeks in this league and win. Hard to win in our league. But Brian Kelly hasn't had a problem with it. Now, again, they did lose last year in that back-to-back situation, the first one of the back-to-back. We're talking about the second game of the back-to-back, right? So in the second game of the back-to-back, they lost the first one last year, but they won last week at Arkansas. And basically what we're saying is Brian Kelly 14-3-1 against the spread on the second game of a back-to-back road trip. Last time he lost one was 2006 at Central Michigan. Maybe, just maybe, this is a spot that isn't going to bother Brian Kelly because he's been able to do it really well over the course of his career. We'll see if they can get it Saturday there at Kyle Field. You know, there's another angle of this, which is Tommy Moffitt, obviously now at Texas A&M as well. Mike Elko was asked about how Tommy Moffitt's impacted the team.
I think it's been immense. I think the job that he's done from a physical standpoint is noticeable. I think we're stronger. We're more conditioned. I think the job he's done from a mental standpoint has been very well seen. And so he's been a huge part of our success for sure.
It's no knock at all on Jake Flint. I think Jake Flint's done a great job with LSU also. I love Tommy Moffitt. I just wish he would have gone far, far away from the SEC. Be weird seeing the Moffitts in maroon on Saturday. Just another weird part of this series. Okay, Mike Triplett next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. Or go on social media at GetGordon. You can see all the G-Team videos that they've done, the recent gator hunting video with Will Campbell. I love this, too. They honored Breast Cancer Awareness Month at all of the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney offices around the state this week with their Wear Pink Day. For every employee at a Gordon office that wore pink, they made a $100 donation to breast cancer services, which is awesome, man. As my mom and my aunt are both breast cancer survivors, and I think most of us have a woman in our life who means a lot to us, who's battled breast cancer. And so for Gordon and his team to step up, that's awesome, and we salute him for it. You've been injured, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
Hey, Mike, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Injury report just came out about 20 minutes ago here on
How's
Thursday.
your soft tissue?
My soft tissue is great because I don't play for the New Orleans Saints. Because if I did, I would have tons of soft tissue issues. Although my back hurts, Mike. I have chronic back pain. I don't think anybody cares about that, though. Only 2 players were DNPs, Derek Carr, Nick Saldiveri, so they're getting healthier.
No, add Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson.
Add
Sorry.
Cedric Wilson.
Sorry.
We got a new one.
There it is.
You can't go a day without adding someone to the injury report. Come
Sorry.
on, stop.
There it is, way down the list.
What were you thinking?
What
were you thinking?
It's my fault. I'm dumb.
Yeah, cocky.
Okay. What is the most significant news on the injury report as far as returnees?
I mean, there's a lot of good ones on there, and it's a reminder of how bad things have been. I mean, I think it's Chris Olave. It's good to see him at full participation. We haven't been able to clarify 100% if that means he's completely through the concussion protocol, but we've seen him out there practicing 2 days in a row. They have 10 days between games. He went from limited yesterday to full today. It sure seems like he's on track. We know Cesar Ruiz is on track. That's huge, considering the state of this offensive line. Lucas Patrick is back. That's huge, considering the state of this offensive line. Taysom Hill is back. That's huge, considering just what he does for the offense and the state of the run game. And then Pete Werner at linebacker for a run defense that has suddenly turned into the worst run defense in the NFL is also huge. So I would say, oh my God, the team is practically completely back, except they still don't have their starting quarterback. So it's hard to get too enthusiastic about that injury report, but it'll at least give Spencer Rattler a chance to play with a real NFL team instead of like a 4th preseason game roster.
Yep. So what are you realistically expecting then from Rattler having his offensive line and his weapons there?
Yeah. I mean, obviously he has still reminded us that he is an inexperienced rookie who has a lot to learn, and This offensive line is still not perfect when healthy, so he'll still be under pressure. And if they can't run the ball super well, then, things won't go easily for him. But all of that has to help, in addition to the fact that it's his third game now. And so he's got some experience, and he's learned from that tape. And he's had this extra time to prepare after the last 2 games were really rushed. So I would expect by far his best performance yet.
Why? Well, let me get a thought on, before we move to the defense, let me get a thought on Kamara's contract extension. Right move, right timing, all the Ds. What do you think?
I'm torn. I mean, I'm very conflicted. I mean, they're in general, I do not mind paying Alvin Kamara another $12 million a year for 2 years. I mean, there are few players in the NFL who have, delivered time and time again. And that's not a ton of money. We're talking about an NFL where, like, Brandon Ayuk makes $30 million, and and guys like that. Jalen Waddle is close to $30 million. Alvin Kamara at $12 million is not a hard investment to make for a guy who is kind of the heart and soul of this team right now. But yeah, I mean, the state of the current Saints, being over the cap, being old, thinking, boy, should they consider a rebuild? Seems pretty obvious they need to consider a rebuild, right? To invest in a 29-year-old running back for 2 more years is a hard decision to get behind. But look, you can't kill a team for $24 million on one of the best players in franchise history. I mean, I can't kill them for it, but I think it signals they have absolutely no intention, desire, thoughts that they might be rebuilding after this season, which is pretty shocking.
Torn is exactly the word I used.
Yeah.
Verbatim. I'm surprised. I didn't think that my take would be a popular one, but you and I see completely eye to eye on that. Mike Triplett's with us.
Yeah, I mean, we want to think that the Saints might do something different in the offseason finally. Like, it's funny, I just wrote this very long, detailed salary cap story that's on the site right now about, all right, my mindset after watching them lose 5 straight games and falling to 2-5 was, all right, what if they decided this is the year we're gonna be caught up by the cap by 2026? Could they do it? And I mapped out a path where they could. But the very first step is you've got to want to do it. And this is a team that doesn't want to do it.
So it's bizarre. By the way, the site, of course, is neworleans.football. He's Mike Triplett on Twitter, at Mike Triplett. Chats every single Thursday here, brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, bennyscarwash.com. Highly recommend you go join the Benny's Car Wash membership club. It's unlimited washes. It's like the best $16 you'll ever spend. Why does the defense stink all of a sudden?
Man, I don't know why it has become this atrocious, and that's the most disheartening thing about the whole season. Like, I don't mind that the offense stunk without 3 starting offensive linemen, a starting quarterback, and 2 starting receivers. Like, every offense should stink under those circumstances. We expected that.
Yes.
The demise of the defense has been what are we even doing here? Like, you get healthy, so what? So you can trot that same defense back out there? Like, what is this? What are we looking at? It's shocking. I will say, though, and this is a disturbing answer, I mean, I think they've shown cracks of this for a couple years now. I thought the defense was really disappointing last year, too. I think in the heart of their worst stretch of the season last year, when they were losing at Minnesota, losing at Atlanta, getting off to that horrible start against Detroit. I can't remember if they lost 4 in a row or like 4 out of 5, and it was those slow starts. We were asking all the players, why are you coming out and start so slow? They would kind of rally at the end of games, but when the run defense has absolutely been one of the worst in the NFL for the last couple of years. The pass rush has eroded. Major questions about that defensive line. I like the talent in the secondary. I like the talent at linebacker, but I think they were kind of secretly really more like the 12th to 15th best defense, and they've regressed from there.
Demario Davis defended the team's effort earlier this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd expect him to say, but I don't believe him. You're there every day. What do you think?
It's tough to find the right word to describe what that is. Like, there are some words that are just trigger words, like you quit.
Quit.
You didn't show any effort. of course, everyone is going to say, no, that is not true. There's not a single person in this room that would do that. We're competitors. We have pride. And I do believe them when they say that. And actually, we've seen multiple seasons of evidence that even when everyone else has counted them out and they've started 5-7, that they go and they win 4 of the last 5 games, play their best football, and they've never really have like quit, like a mutiny. But when you're getting steamrolled by teams and you're playing terrible and each possession is worse than the next and the offense goes 3 and out and they trot you back out there on the field again, I mean, your spirit is broken, your enthusiasm is broken, it's hard to give it everything you've got. There's a defeated quality that's human nature, and we're absolutely seeing that play out on the field.
So the real question now is, as they get healthier, and we've all said, like they're trying to win, the results have to translate to the field. This is an interesting challenge going out to L.A. Chargers on a short week, Saints on a long week.
Yeah.
They stink on offense. That, in theory, should be a good remedy for your defense, but you stink on offense, and they're the best scoring defense. So what do you look at and go, oh, this is the thing that'll decide that game?
I mean, I'm really curious to see. Like, I was not super disturbed by the losses to Philadelphia and Atlanta. I mean, it was really unfortunate that they blew it in the final minutes of both of those games. But that was a top 20 NFL team, going toe to toe with other top 20 NFL teams, and I'd like to at least see the Saints show that they can get back to that level, even if they're not like week 1 and week 2 Saints. So I hope they revive to be relevant again. I mean, the last 3 weeks have been an embarrassment, and it's just hideous to watch. So I hope they get back to that level. And they can absolutely beat this team. I mean, Arizona's not a very good team. They just beat the Chargers the other night. But, I mean, we are still talking about a team that is starting Spencer Rattler at quarterback. So is he ready to go into L.A. and win a game against a pretty good team? And then, obviously on the flip side, the Saints have given up 500 rushing yards over the last 2 weeks, and now they're going against a team that likes running the ball more than any team in the NFL. Can they stop the run against a team that's going to hammer away at the run? So I don't love the matchup. I'm going to pick the Chargers to win, but I sure hope we're looking at a competitive NFL game again instead of what we've seen over the last 3 weeks.
Oh, God. Let's play 2 scenarios. One, the Saints win this game and move to 3-5. What does that mean for their path forward?
I mean, I hate to get overly optimistic about the Saints because burn me 11 times, you can't burn me a 12th time or whatever it is. But I mean, it is pretty remarkable that if they could just get to 3-5, the Carolina Panthers are up next, which is one of the best games you'd ever love to see on your schedule. So they could easily be 4-5, and if they're 4-5, they're probably like a game out in the NFC South, and they have all their healthy players coming back, and Derek Carr will be back by then, and people can talk themselves into, well, maybe it'd be worth watching again, and they'll finish 8-9, they'll have the 13th pick of the draft again, and all that good stuff. It's completely feasible that that's what happens, but this is the hardest part of the whole thing is winning this game. And I didn't even mention, 4-5 with 3 straight home games and a bye week coming up after that. I mean, the schedule really opens up for them. The problem is, if you look at it week by week, you can talk yourself into it. If you realize that, like, to win the division, you probably have to go 8-2 for the rest of the season. This is not a team that's going to go 8-2.
No. Okay, so flip side of it then is you lose and you fall to 2-6. Play that scenario out.
Well, you still have Carolina the next week, and you still have Derek Carr coming back, and then a week later you still have Eric McCoy coming back. You still have 3 straight home games in the bye week after that, and they'll probably be a team that's 2-6, and hoping that they can be 3-6, and then hoping they can be 4-6, and 5-8, and finishing 7-10, and hey, look how we fought at the end of the season. I mean, that's it's not. There's not a scenario where they're just like we're benching Derek Carr, we're going with Rattler, and we're cutting everyone at the end of the season. I don't think it happens. Now, if they lose the next 2 games and you're 2-7 and you've lost to Carolina, I really would hope that they start having those conversations.
Yeah. I feel like we've already had the pivotal point of the season, but
yeah,
I guess we could say that Sunday is it again. But even if they lose,
Nick had a great line on the show this week where he's like, "You're going to find out if the injuries are an explanation or an excuse." I mean, if they go back to looking like the team of week 3 and week 4 in the next few weeks, and they go back to winning half their games the rest of the season, and maybe even finishing 6-5 or something like that, then you're like, oh damn! If it wasn't for all those injuries, this team probably could have gone 10-7. Like. That's how they view themselves. So I think it's too late to finish 10-7 because they've already lost too many games. But we will at least find out if they can actually look like a quote unquote 10-7 team for whatever that's worth. It's not. I mean, everyone out there is fighting. With some pride. They don't want to finish this year 3-14, But we'll find out. We'll find out if the injuries were an actual reason for those 3 games, and you can just dismiss them as well. Look, they just couldn't field a competitive team, and if they get back to what they looked like before, then there's something to that. There's something noble in making that the goal, even though nobody wants another 7 or 8 win finish. Nobody wants that.
Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Check him out there at Mike Triplett. Of course, our chat's brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Be well. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com. ParishBuilt.com. Got Parish Restoration there as well, of course. Tell you all the time, kill mold, remove odor. It's the patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Parish Construction and Roofing. Commercial or residential. Roof repairs, roof replacements. We handle everything. Actually, we have our Thursday weekly marketing meeting. Was over there this morning at the office, and a great visit as always with all the different things that we offer. If you need a roof repair, roof replacement, just let us do that free, no obligation roofing inspection. It costs you nothing, not even your time. We'll come out to the house. You don't even have to be home. One of our inspectors will get on your roof, walk it, mark it, chalk it, see if there's damage. If there is, we'll help you file an insurance claim. Our staff will go to work for you. You don't have to do anything. I mean, we think of everything, even just the whole customer service experience. Getting your roof replaced is so intrusive. I mean, ripping the roof off of your house. So our thought is, how do we make that as least intrusive as possible? For example, we have a catch-all system whereby we drape the catch-all from your roof over your garden onto the lawn so that when our crews drop shingles and nails off the top of the roof, it falls into this catch-all and not into your garden or on your lawn or your driveway. We try to be as least intrusive as we possibly can because that's how we'd want people to do business at our house. That's why we always say do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, that's Joe Morales, that's Trent Davis, it's all of our crew. We'd love to help you. And, of course, we always talk about our commercial division as well over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Like maybe you're trying to avoid the gigantic cost of a commercial roof replacement. We have a maintenance program whereby we can help repair and maintain your roof to extend the life to avoid the very gigantic, enormous cost of replacing that commercial roof. Or if it's time for a commercial roof replacement, we'd love to help you there as well. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, we appreciate Mike Triplett. Thanks so much to David Nuno, Tex Ags, who was here last hour, Lee Sterling as well. We had our Fantasy Blitz. Tons of great stuff always on these Thursdays as we sort of launch your football weekend. We're not done yet. We'll grab a quick break, come back. Still got to preview Thursday Night Football, and we have to hear from Graf. It wouldn't be appropriate, as the NBA season for the Pelicans tipped off last night, if we didn't at least hear from our friend Todd Graffinini, the radio voice of the Pels. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. Y'all download the Rouse's app if you haven't done so yet. It's Thursday. Maybe you're heading home. You don't want to cook on a Thursday. No worries. Rouse's can help you out. Walk into Rouse's. You can walk to the left side over there by the all the prepared meals. If you want fried chicken, you want the salad bar, maybe you want ribs or anything from barbecue, maybe you want sushi. They have pre-rolled sushi, grab and go. They have their hot and boiled kiosk. You want some boiled seafood tonight, grab and go. They got it all for you there at Rouse's. Man, it's delicious as well. They got hand-cut steaks as well. You want those steaks, the butcher there at Rouse's, they'll cut them and roll them and wrap them for you as well in that wrapping paper, totally free of charge. Get on by and see our friends over at Rouse's. Download the app, curbside pickup option. Remember, select your items, your personal shopper will go pick them out for you, bring it out to the car. Makes it easy. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
One of the things I forgot to mention about Decision Critical, they also have a B12 and a IV hydration component of their clinic as well. So you can go to their clinic right there off of Highland Road and get B12 shot or an IV. Or maybe you just wake up feeling like crud and you want a hydration IV to make you feel better. Remember, they're a concierge nursing service. They will come to you. If you're sick and can't get out of bed, they'll come to your house and give you an IV. Come to your office, give you an IV. I need to do that one day here in studio. I'm going to do that next Thursday. I'm going to have them come in studio and give me an IV on the show next Thursday. That's what we're going to do. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. A little bit of news. 2 pieces of breaking news here. Shams, no more Woj bombs. Can we get a Shams bomb? Shams bomb. Maybe if you say, maybe it's how you say it. Maybe it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Like a Shams bomb. Shams bombs. We got to pluralize it. Shams bombs. There it is.
I like that, actually, yeah.
Shams bombs. That's what it is. How about this? Angel Reese has agreed to a multi-year endorsement contract extension with Reebok. She'll have a signature shoe release in 2026. I hope the shoe is, well, I guess it would be, but I hope it's not just a female designed shoe. Like, I hope men can wear. Like, I would wear Angel Reese's shoe. I'd wear her sneaker for sure.
Yeah, I would think it'd be unisex there.
And technically, they all are.
Right.
It fits your foot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard though to get a. This is the problem I have. I wear a 13. I have a big foot, so it's hard to get a women's design shoe sometime in a men's size 13.
Yeah.
That's the issue. But Angel Reese, I don't know. I mean, she's 6'5". I don't know how big her foot is, but I bet it's big. Gotta be. Get them. The other bit of news: Chris Hilton, full go at practice today. Brian Kelly meeting with reporters. That's fantastic. I don't know if it means that Hilton is going to play on Saturday, but participating fully is good because I'll tell you one of the things we've heard is that Hilton has been just working kind of off to the side, getting treatment, working with trainers. Very much described there as limited when you're doing that at practice. If you're a full participant, sure sounds like you're getting ready to go. I will remind you, though, like in fall camp and early in the season, we saw Zy Alexander doing that. Like, Zy was a full participant at practice. But if you remember back in fall camp when we were doing our camp reports, Zy was running third team. And it wasn't because his talent level. It was they had to get him back to where he was playing football at full speed. You could be doing every drill, but getting back into football shape and the repetition and all that took time for Zy. And ultimately he got there, and he's playing fantastic now coming off the ACL. This isn't as significant an injury as Zy Alexander had, but that could be what Chris Hilton's working through. But like I've said, we'll see. I'm very hopeful for Chris Hilton. I want to see him out there. I think he's a difference maker in this offense when he is out there because he provides something that you don't otherwise have, your speed, vertical, deep threat. But you have to proceed as if you're not going to have him. And then when you do, awesome. It'll be a great surprise and be a great addition to the offense. Hopefully it'll be this weekend. All right, we're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Finishing off my bottle here. You can find out Evermore at great local retailers or online at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. A natural artesian water. It's a rare alkaline source. It's Evermore, and it's a Louisiana product. I've told you this. This is the challenge that I would give you every day. If you go to the store, you go to the convenience store, whatever it is, and you always buy bottled water, and you buy whatever the brand is, the one that everybody seems to buy, that really the popular brand, or the crinkly plastic bottle from Texas, buy a bottle of Evermore, drink them side by side, and then let me know. Let me know what you think. You will taste the difference. Fresh taste, smooth, better source of hydration, healthier, all natural. It's Evermore, EVAMOR. Evermore.com, evermore.com. Pels won last night. Give me Graf!
There's another one. Green to DJ, behind the back, bounce past to McCollum for a left corner three. You have got to be kidding me!
Christian James McCollum from DeJounte Murray, and that's money.
Unfortunately, we're not going to hear the name DJ Murray for a while. We're not going to hear the name
Murray, present.
DJ Murray for a while.
Murray, present.
Fractured his hand. But that's not going to stop us from playing. Give me Graf!
Levine had it deflected back.
Go get it. Go get it, big boy.
Green ran it down.
Yes, sir. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Right hand hammer, Javonte Green, Billy Donovan, another timeout.
I think John DeShazer stole a line from the late, great Kevin Franklin. Stole his Rumble, young man, rumble line. Or maybe he was just paying homage.
Could have been the homage.
Shout out Kevin Franklin. Pels win by 12, beat the Bulls. Winning night at the Blender. Give me more Graf!
Pick from Messi. Ingram, stop, pop, straightaway three. Get in there, B.I.!
Why is he so good?
It's game one. Game one.
Let me remind you. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Muse.
Game one.
1 out of 82.
Yeah.
We got any more?
Yeah, let's run it back.
Fun iron, no good, and the rebound, Levine. Stripped, though, by Murray. Taken back. McCollum for three!
El Presidente. Christian James McCollum.
What does that even mean? I love it so much.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just say whatever you want to say. When you're graphing JD, you just say whatever you want to say.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, you're right!
We need another one, Graph.
That's the best part. That's the best part about basketball season starting in October. Actually, I think it's the only good part about basketball season starting in October. I am an NBA fan. However, we're smack dab in the middle of conference play in college football, really meaningful NFL games. The World Series starts on Friday, and so the NBA says, you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? Move up. Move over. Scoot your chair. Give me some elbow room at the table. Everyone's like, nah, man, we're good actually right now. We're good. Like, would love to visit with you later. It's like steak. Well, I shouldn't say this. Like steak at breakfast. Because sometimes you like steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase. It's like chicken parm.
Okay, no, not chicken parm.
Veal parm from Supper Club.
Ooh.
The veal parmesan at Supper Club. They bring that veal chop, that cutlet right there with the bone on it. They lay it there, and they take the cheese and in the skillet table side and serve it over the veal. It's amazing. But I don't want that at 7 in the morning. You know what I mean?
That's
it's
tough.
like, this is where you want your eggs and your bacon and your coffee. You know, maybe a Danish.
Yeah, cinnamon roll.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I want right now. Like, I want you. I want you. I want you. I just want you at like 7:15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the evening, not in the morning.
7:15 p.m.
Right.
That's the NBA in October.
Unless you got Graph.
Yeah, you're right!
The only good thing about the NBA in October, not about the NBA in October, is Graph.
Yeah, you're right!
All right, it's after further review. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. See if he's got a pick on Thursday Night Football. It's AFR.
After further review.
DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net. Start there. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net. Graf just texted. On a plane to Portland. Thanks for the shout out. He's listening on the way to Portland. It's such a beauty. You know who else is a beauty? Duplessis Builders. Their pools are all beauties. Outdoor kitchens, beauties. Design and build your backyard paradise at Duplessis Builders. Hey, go into their showroom right there on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Actually, Airline and Duplessis Lane. The serendipity of that situation, of them opening their showroom on Duplessis Lane, DuplessisBuilders.net. You walk in, it's exquisite. You can pick all your finishes, your tiling, your coping, your colors, your water feature. It's awesome. Go check it out. They have a putting green there as well. Your boy sunk like a 15-footer on his first drive. We got the video of it. DuplessisBuilders.net. Hey, remember, you want the best. You want Duplessis Builders.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service, decisioncriticalbr.com. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
How about our guy, 2-0 last night? Give him a ding, maybe a double ding. Love to see it. You love to hear it. Jacksonville State made us sweat, but they got home. And how about Kennesaw State? Not just a cover, but the outright win. A winless Kennesaw State beating undefeated Liberty. The Otter was on it. Jimmy Ott's with us. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. I told my buddy, he asked me who I liked last night in the game, so I told him Kennesaw State. And he said, okay. So, well, he said, he called me back. He said, man, I put $7 on the money line. So we hit. I said, oh, you did? $100,000. I'm joking. But there was some guy that put $7 on the money line for a six-figure payout.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a good night.
0-5 versus 6-0. Man, but Liberty has not covered all year. They had the returning quarterback, but it's just the same thing. And, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I think they're going to lose to Jacksonville State next week at home.
Okay.
So they're just not the team that they were, and I know we're going to get points. So this is the since Hugh Freeze took over, since Malik Willis was playing quarterback over there, this is the weakest team that they've had. It's just such a weak schedule, but man, they have not covered in a long, long time. None of their games have been real impressive. So they just don't have the team, but the branding is built on it.
Yeah.
They'll knock it down some, but. Anyway, so we usually fade the public, huh?
No.
Minnesota, 91% of the tickets are on the Vikings at DraftKings. Our friends over at the Queen downtown will repeat for Football Sunday this Sunday. But I think I'm on the square side tonight. I'm on the Vikings tonight. So I'm going to lay the 3. Cooper Kupp's coming back, but Cooper Kupp is far removed from where he was in 2001. So. Look, they'll put up a little bit of a fight, but I like this Vikings team. Darnold is solid. He's not great, but he's solid. That was a hell of a game on Sunday between Detroit and Minnesota. So I know they're traveling, but I'm going to take Minnesota minus the 3 tonight.
All right, Minnesota laying 3. College, NBA, what else are we looking at, Otter?
Yes, so for the college, I think these two teams are very, very equal. Only difference is one close game. Syracuse lost on Friday night to Stanford. The close games, as far as Pitt is concerned, they've had Cincinnati down 21 in the second half. West Virginia down 10 in the fourth quarter play. Three-year starter at Zachary, Eli Holstein, former Alabama transfer, He's been on fire, man. And look, Narduzzi was forced to make offensive adjustments, but this teams are even to me. Man, UNLV lost one game, and that was to Syracuse. And it probably shouldn't have been that close in overtime because McCord had a bad throw. McCord actually averages considerably more passing yardage a game than Eli Holstein. I think this is a pick-em game. Give me the point. Any kind of points in this one, Syracuse.
By the way,
and
I know when you put it on the website earlier, it was 6.5. It's down to 5 now. So we still like Syracuse in 5?
Still going to take 5. Not
Okay.
happy about it, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the NBA, I did so well this week. I'll defer. So Kenny White comes on my show every week. I'm privileged, and he does a great job. Gives like 100 picks a month for like $150. Really good. But one of his picks tonight, we're going to give Kenny. He's got the Denver Nuggets at home tonight in the late game on TNT.
It's at, I'm looking at 2 right now. I know when you gave it was 1.5. We buying half a point or we laying 2?
Late 2. Late 2.
All right, we'll lay 2 with the Denver Nuggets. All right, the Vikings, the Syracuse Orange, and the Denver Nuggets. Your 3-pack there from the Otter. Rufino's Football Friday tomorrow.
Yes, and at the Queen, come see us Sunday. We're in town this weekend.
All right, Otter, thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, Muse Paulie, thanks. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Getting on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, if you might be in the market for a new vehicle, if you're shopping online, remember the average car buyer visits 1.2 dealerships now before they make a purchase. Effectively, everybody shops online, and then you go pick up your vehicle. So do that at southpointvw.com. If you've never considered a Volkswagen, put it on your list. Maybe you're Volkswagen people. Maybe you had one, you went astray, time to come back. Great deals right now at South Point as well. There's always great deals, both on new and certified pre-owned vehicles. On the pre-owned, remember, all different makes and models because they sell more new inventory. They get more trade-in, so they have a larger certified pre-owned inventory. Check them out online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.